Global alert has been issued over 4 cough syrups produced in India after the World Health Organization warned that they could be linked to the deaths of 66 children in West Africa.
The Indian government says it has asked the World Health Organization to share its evidence of the link between the syrups and the deaths of the children in the Gambia. The global health body said laboratory analysis had confirmed that the syrups contain unacceptable amounts of chemical substances that are toxic and can prove fatal if consumed. The agency had advised the regulators to stop the sale of the syrups. The manufacturer, Maiden Pharmaceuticals, says it's trying to find out what has happened.
That's BBC's Embarrassan Etirajan. Iran has published video showing 2 detained French citizens purportedly confessing to acting on behalf of a French security service in connection with the riots in Iran. News and analysis, townhall.com. There's a new water-saving proposal in drought-stricken California.
California water agencies that rely on the parched Colorado River say they are willing to cut their use by about 1/10. The proposal to cut 400,000 acre-feet annually marks the first time California water agencies are publicly and formally indicating what they're willing to give up since federal officials demanded major cuts this summer. The agencies supply water to farmers and millions of people in Southern California. California shares the river water with 6 other states, tribes, and Mexico. California, however, has rights to the single largest share and is the last to lose water in times of shortage. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
An infant girl, her parents, and uncle have been found dead in a Central California orchard 2 days after being kidnapped at gunpoint from their business. Police in Merced County say that a 48-year-old suspect is in custody. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Thursday.
Yep.
Day, what, third to the last from the fair.
Yeah, sure, let's complicate it.
You got today, you got tomorrow, you got Saturday. You get your fairing on.
That's right. Tonight is Bree Bagwell and Frank Ray will be taking the stage.
I know last night's concert got delayed a little bit, along with carnivals and things, but I think it all happened. It happened a little later than
things eventually opened back up once the storm kind of seeded a little bit, or subsided a little bit. The carnival opened back up, and the concert got back underway. So yeah, things went off eventually. I was going to say without a hitch, but there were some hitches.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think considering the amount of rain they've been calling for all week, I think we've been pretty lucky.
Well, I think
for the most part,
all the rain they've been calling for all week last night. It was, as torrential of a downpour as I've ever been in Roswell.
Yeah.
It was just constant for a good solid 45 minutes. Steady rain.
You know where I would have been?
Huh.
Ice cream store.
Dude, let me tell you what happened. So I went, I did a break, and then things were still kind of calm. The rain hadn't started yet. There was a real dark cloud on the horizon. I could kind of see it moving in. I'm like, things are about to get set off.
Storm's coming,
So I wandered over to the ice cream shop and got myself a nice scoop of butter pecan and a cone.
Nice.
And I'm sitting there in the trailer, watching the storm roll in, hearing the thunder and the lightning, and then the clouds open up. I'm sitting there with my phone because it's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there with my phone in between breaks, watching wrestling, eating an ice cream cone, and listening to the rainstorm.
Sounds like life was good.
It's a good night. It's gonna be a good day, Tater.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, so that was a pleasant way to spend your evening.
Only got one scoop.
Yeah, here's the thing. They don't take debit. I only had so much cash on me.
Oh, okay.
I had $3. I wanted a double scoop, which would have been $4. So I opted for the single scoop.
All right. So note to self: bring cash.
Bring cash.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Well, yeah, that's my my Shangri-La at the fair.
I understand.
Hang out where the ice cream is.
It was rather entertaining though, just being in the relative dryness of the trailer, kind of people watching as the storm really opened up. Because people were like, "No, this is fine."
We had some running. Probably
then it got a little harder, and then the running started.
Yeah.
And then it got torrential, and everybody was like, "Where can I go?" And so you'd see like a bunch of people scattered to the commercial building, a bunch of people scattered to Hobson Hall, a bunch of people go over to the livestock pavilion, a bunch of people go over to the train station.
Yeah.
And so it was just like everybody picked their building and kind of hunkered down.
All the indoor festivities were very popular for a bit there last night. So good.
Yeah, even Gene, he came over to help out with covering up some of the equipment and some of the plugs and stuff. And then he's like, "I gotta go. I gotta get back on the controls."
He's got to run the train, man.
Yeah. He's like, we're trying to get the short track going. I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's a serious business.
Good.
And it really is.
I'm glad he loves it.
So
I'm glad it's his thing, man. Good for him. I think everybody should find their thing, man, and have fun with it.
I think we need to invest in a nice train set for him for Christmas.
Okay.
We could get together and
don't tell nobody. Don't tell him. Everybody, if we do that.
Yeah, it's not like we have.
You know what I wish I could get him? Something I had as a kid that I don't think exists anymore. 1 year for Christmas.
The weenie whistle? Sorry.
1 year for Christmas, my parents gave me a G.I. Joe train set. Yeah.
Really?
It was a train set. All right, I was a child, so it's child brain, but I'm going to guesstimate about half the size of this table we're on here.
Okay.
About half the size of it, and it had a brown like terrain with some fakey mountains and whatnot, and then it basically had a round track you built around it, and then a bunch of camouflage G.I. Joe like
nice
train cars and whatnot. I think it may have had like guns and stuff because it's G.I. Joe, and I had that thing, and I remember playing with it for a couple of years before kids do what kids do with their toys and destroyed them.
Wow, you got a couple of years out of it. That's impressive.
But if I happened to be digging around and like, oh, it's the G.I. Joe train set, the same one I had when I was a kid. I'm sure it's probably like valuable now because everything with a toy that's G.I. Joe stamped on it from the 80s is worth money.
I don't ever remember seeing a G.I. Joe train set, so that feels like
I had one.
Feels like a rarity.
Yeah, I had one. It wasn't like scaled up like the toys. Like it was miniature. It was like you couldn't put your G.I. Joe men on. It was too small, But yeah,
but it had all the branding and stuff.
Yeah, the G.I. Joe logos, and it was green and had it was just probably some other gimmick to get parents to buy more G.I. Joe stuff for their kids. But yeah, I had one, and I loved it.
Nice.
That was my stinting of training. Was that with trains? Was that little bit I had my G.I. Joe train set?
Here's a question: At what point in time did toy makers get lazy? And by that I mean, when did they stop putting their own decals on toys? Because when I was a kid, I don't ever recall getting a toy and then a sheet of stickers that I had to put my own decals on it.
I do.
Because I would have been bad at it. And to this day, doing it for my kids, I am bad at it.
Well, I seem to remember like getting the more complex G.I. Joe vehicles, like the hovercraft.
Okay.
Was one that I got as a kid. You had to put that together. Like it was a box full of parts that you had to put it together.
The put together toys,
but it had a sheet of stickers. But no, it wasn't like a model. It was one of the G.I. Joe vehicles, but I had to pull it out and like assemble it, and then it came with a sheet of stickers for the flag, the little stars and all that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but that we always had that.
Now let me give you the example that I'm kind of thinking of. So I took my kids to Bubble in the throat. Sorry. Took my kids to the play place a couple weeks ago. Got them a Happy Meal, and the toy that they got came with a sheet of stickers.
Okay.
To then put the stickers onto the toy.
Okay.
I'm bad at that.
Maybe it's a creative thing. Maybe it's to let the kids.
Fine, great.
You want to make the thing your own, you then do it.
One of my favorite Happy Meal toys of all time, and I still remember the promotion. It was the show Tailspin.
Oh, yeah.
And they were these little die-cast airplanes, right? The propellers worked. It wasn't anything special. It was just like a little cool, little toy plane, whatever.
Yeah.
There were no decals in that bag. There were decals on the toy, but they were already stuck on the toy. And I appreciated the work that the toy maker put into sticking the decals on the freaking toy. The professionals that know where they go.
The toy artists.
Not giving dad some instructions that are pictures because it's not in the language.
Yeah.
And I know how a sticker goes on. I just don't know where they go. That's the thing. And so mine's going to end up looking special needs.
Okay. I don't know. I get what
My
you're
kids
saying.
are great at it. I guess started at an early age because I wasn't started that way, and so I'm bad at it now.
Let them do it.
Yeah.
That'll kill a few minutes.
Right.
That'll be 5 extra minutes with that toy.
You'd think. If strapped down and handed just the sheet of stickers and just that toy, maybe.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old will more than likely have his face covered in stickers before the seating is done.
It doesn't matter. As long as it's a good time.
That's fine. It's just, I don't know. It feels like we're taking a step out of the process, Well,
funny part is he came in this morning with stickers all over his face. He's like, oh, these kids' toys just don't work nowadays.
And that was just for mine.
Right.
Which, by the way, and I know it's not a McDonald's Friday. We'll talk about it plenty more tomorrow. Have you seen the adult Happy Meal that they're touting?
I've seen. Is that new or is
it's
that
brand new? Yeah,
okay. I remember showing the video you showed me, and I remember hearing about it in existence, but I hadn't concretely seen it yet.
It's just for this week, and I think it's just for a limited time. It's probably not just for this week, but it just started this week. It's $11, and you can choose between a Big Mac and a 10-piece plus fries and a drink, so it's like a normal meal. But then you get a toy, and the toy is like this little vinyl character figure thing, which I can understand the whole limited edition-ness of it all.
Yeah,
it feels a little odd, doesn't it? It feels just a little odd.
It does seem like it's catering to people that are adult-sized, but child-brained.
Man children.
Yes.
Of which I am one, which is maybe why I have such a problem with it, because it feels exploitive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I think it's a novel concept for a minute, just to tell people you got an adult Happy Meal.
Right.
And then someone will make a joke about, does it come with a margarita or something like that, and you laugh and eat your sandwich.
The meme that was going around yesterday was I got Ronald in my adult Happy Meal. It was just like a shirtless Ronald McDonald with French fries.
Ladies.
Yes. Ladies. Turns out the pain doesn't stop at the neckline. Sunshine.
Goes all the way down.
All the way down.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's not a pretty image. Let me give you the rundown. I haven't done that yet. We're going to replay some interviews this the next hour. Kay Galindo with the Roswell Refuge joined us yesterday talking about, of course, Domestic Violence Awareness Month is the month of October. They've got their candlelight vigil coming up. They also, they are in need of donations, things like that, as always. But right now they could really use some help with toiletries and bedding, sheets, things like that. So we'll play that interview for you here in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, John LeMay joined us early in the week, author and Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico member. He was talking about their spooky event coming up here on the 23rd, I believe. I don't have it on in front of me. And then we talked about some of his books and his trip to Las Vegas, New Mexico.
The big time.
Which I saw on his Facebook page the other day. From his trip in Las Vegas, he had a picture of a statue of Pat Garrett that's there in Las Vegas. And then he said, by the way, Las Vegas, Nevada is named after Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Really?
According to John LeMay.
See, I did not know that.
Yeah, according to John LeMay. So
a lot of people don't know this. Las Vegas It stands for the Vegas. Spanish to English translation.
Did you know they have steak that can tip over your car like the Flintstones?
Sure. Las Cruces, it's the Cruces.
I believe it's the Cross.
I know what it is. Don't kill the joke, Mikey.
No, I want to sound smart.
Los Alamos, the Alamos, turns out.
Alamo Gordo.
It's just Fat Alamo.
Fat John Wayne. That's what that means. All right. It is, oh, wait a minute. I didn't finish my rundown. Oh, yeah. And then in the 9 o'clock hour today, we're going to have Joyce join us from Heirloom Makers. They're now open for the Halloween season, and they're doing the taking kids out to the pumpkin patch and hay rides and all kinds of fun. So we'll talk with Joyce from Heirloom Acres in the 9 o'clock hour today. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the news of the local and national variety, along with your Wall Street business update, Kim Commando, Sean Hannity updates, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, let's take a look at your weather. More rain chances. Although, I think our best chances were yesterday, but we still got chances the rest of the fair, but maybe not as significant. Hopefully. Knocking on wood there.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Cool temperatures and some showers around through the upcoming weekend with low pressure over southern New Mexico and some moist air coming in. Cloudy today, low 70s and a few showers and thunderstorms around. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and mid-50s, and then Friday looks about the same. A mix of sunshine and clouds through about midday, and then a few afternoon thunderstorms, upper 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 60 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 93%. Winds currently out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. We do have a 40% chance at rain showers for this afternoon. Skies will be cloudy today with a high of 74. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, 40% chance of rain continues. They could see some patchy fog overnight as well. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 57. Winds will be out of the east at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, our chance of rain is at 30%. Patchy fog early, otherwise mostly cloudy for the day. Looking at highs around 76 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. 40% chance of rain for tomorrow night. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 57. Winds will be out of the east 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for the weekend on Saturday, a 40% chance at showers and thunderstorms. Mostly cloudy, highs near 70 with southeast winds at 5 to 15. Saturday night, a 30% chance at showers, overnight low of 55. And then for Sunday, 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly for the afternoon. Mostly cloudy and a high of 71. And then 60% chance of rain for Sunday night. Then your Columbus Day, Monday, 50% chance of rain. So rain chances continue, but looks like they get a little lower maybe for like tomorrow and slight today. But we'll see. Hopefully the rain cooperates with everything that goes on in the fair and doesn't mess up or shut down any of the fun activities out there. All right, it is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to take about a 2-minute break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to play our interview with Kay Galindo from the Roswell Refuge. That's on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Nutrient Ag Solutions, formerly Crop Production Services, is the world's largest supplier of crop inputs and services and is helping growers feed the future. While providing superior customer service, you can rely on Nutrient to deliver safe products on time to any location. If you need it, they have it. Nutrient understands your business and your needs. It's central to who they are. For more information on products and services, call Nutrient Ag Solutions, formerly Crop Production Services, at 575-748-3510. Nutrient, feeding the future.
I'm Michelle Garcia Holmes, and I'm running for United States Congress. As a former policewoman, I put on my Kevlar vest, uniform, gun belt, grabbed my 12-gauge shotgun, jumped into my police car, and hit the city streets to keep you safe. I want to do the same for you in Washington. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th because our families deserve safe cities, a secure border, and lower gas prices.
Donate today at GarciaHolmesForCongress.com. Paid for by Michelle Garcia Holmes for Congress.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor. John runs with us. Nothing runs like a deer. Get a 3 Series tractor with 0% APR for 72 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2316.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia or Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
This is Dallas Cowboys football 2022.
High formation. Ferguson, the fullback.
Only heard here.
In front of Elliott. 3rd and goal from the 1.
All season.
Handoff. Elliott coming right, pushing. Goal line. Bangs in. Touchdown, Elliott.
Sunday afternoon, it's your Cowboys and the L.A. Rams. Live
from SoFi Stadium
on this Dallas Cowboys radio network station.
Sunday at 1:30 p.m. on your Dallas Cowboy station, 92.9 The Brand.
You are 13.8% more likely to die on your birthday. Think about that the next time you want to celebrate your birthday month. Here's Mike Winters.
3 minutes after 8 o'clock, and just a quick programming note. We're gonna play Kathy Lay interview. I promised her we'll do that next hour. And because good news, joining us here in studio right now is Kay Galindo with the Roswell Refuge. She's back with us. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Mike?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful.
Good. How's life at the refuge? Is it? I mean,
it's crazy.
It's one of those things that's like, it's good you're busy because there's so many people getting help, but at the same time, it's not good that's that many people that need your services.
Well, the thing of it is due to the fact that we are a nonprofit.
Sure.
Our fundings, of course, are limited, so we're limited on staff.
Mm-hmm.
Just the same 2 and 4.
Trying to make magic with everything you got.
And we are completely full at shelter.
Okay.
I think we've got a bunch of kids.
So I'm guessing, to help you get through when the times are, lean as far as donations and go. That's, this is when you really rely on the support of the community.
Yes,
and their donations and their support.
Right.
That's what really gets you through the lean months when things, when numbers are up and resources are down.
Right. And when we're so busy like we are, of course, supply goes down. Once again, I'm coming on to, ask for help with hygiene products, the full size. Now we're in dire need of towels.
Okay.
All types of things, actually, but things that we're in dire need of.
The basics right now. And and I know we're now officially into October, and a lot of people are turning towards candy collections and all that, which is great. Keep doing that.
Sure.
But while you're out and about, if you'd like to help the Roswell Refuge, which is the place to help people victims of domestic violence here in Roswell and Chavez County. When you go to the grocery store, go to Walmart or Target or wherever you go to do your shopping, pick up some extra bottles of shampoo or toothpaste and or conditioners, towels, and washcloths.
Absolutely.
Sheets, bedding.
Yes. Well, see, when we've been having a lot of our clients that are transitioning into their new place.
Mm-hmm. And that stuff goes with them.
So
it's theirs. Yeah.
We make sure that if we've got it, then they're ready to walk in the door and at least with a start.
Absolutely. They got some something to sleep in.
Right.
And something
we're in need
prepare a meal with or something like that.
We're in need of pots, pans, small appliances, dressers.
Yeah.
Dressers are a huge need.
So if you're thinking, I've got a bunch of this stuff, we were talking about maybe just doing a yard sale to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you'd consider donating much of it, maybe all of it, depending on how much you got there, to the Roswell Refuge. Kay runs you still run the thrift store.
I still manage the thrift store, yes.
She runs the thrift store here, so she's the person that can kind of tell you, yeah, we could use that, or can you hold on to it? We we definitely want it, but we just don't have room at the moment. Maybe hold it for a week or two, and then we can talk.
We're in luck because we've had a storage unit that's been donated to us.
Oh, nice. And now you got a little more room.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. So that's made it.
So you can accommodate some, get larger items like a couch or something that needs to be stored.
Right.
That's not quite ready to fit in the thrift shop. You can handle it right now.
I have no room in my store for any furniture. Absolutely. I think everyone during the major COVID did all their cleaning out, and so when we started taking donations, man, I mean, we're at the brim.
Good.
Of course, it's mainly clothing and things like that, but
yeah, and here's the thing: when you guys donate, here's the part about it. So we're talking about donations. Some of it's going to be for the thrift store. Some of it's actually for the home. The stuff like the toiletries, the shampoos, the conditioners, the towels, that stuff's for the home. That's for
our shelter. Yeah, everything in our thrift store is the priority is that the clients are first.
Yeah, and so here's the thing too is that thrift store, though it's there to raise some money to help cover costs of the programs and things, but it's kind of like a shopping spree for the residents too when they get to a point where they're ready to move on from the home and start moving into their own personal, lives again. They get a chance to go through that thrift store and say,
absolutely,
hey, is there anything you need here to get you started? Is there a microwave? Do you need some pots and pans? Do you need some plates and utensils? Do you need some mats or some rugs or something?
And most generally, when they leave, when they come into shelter, as you and I have spoke before, they literally come in with the clothes on their back.
Sometimes with kids in tow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of the time there's children. So, we've got the store primarily for our clients. But of course,
so there's items that get donated, things that they don't have a use for per se.
Right.
But you might think it's pretty sweet.
Exactly.
And so you buy it, and then that money goes back into the programs and things. So.
Goes for our clients.
And here's another little gee whiz factoid. The Refuge works with a lot of other great organizations in our community, and they kind of help each other out. So if, say, the Humane Society or the homeless shelter has someone in need of something, they'll send them over to y'all's thrift store and let them go through, and vice versa.
We also we help the homeless.
Yeah.
If the homeless come by and they need a couple of changes of clothes, we're always there to help out with that.
We got what we can spare. Here you go.
If they come and I'm not able to take the donations, I always refer them to other agencies because they may have room for it. I'm certainly not going to say, well, I don't know what you can do.
Sure, yeah.
I'm going to try to.
You put them in touch with people that can put them in a place for some help.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's so by you donating this stuff, even if you're thinking, well, I don't know if that's something they could use per se directly, it could be. It could be indirectly.
Absolutely.
Another great item is like if you've got business clothes, things like dresses, dress pants, shirts, ties, business attire. Everyone knows that stuff's very expensive, brand new.
Right.
And a lot of people, especially if they get a new job and it's something where they need to wear more professional clothing and things, now they've got that clothing and don't have to, oh man, I can't even go to work because I can't afford the suits to buy to go to work.
Exactly.
And so donate that stuff too, just to think, well, I don't know, what are they going to do with a fancy coat and tie? Quite a bit for that fancy coat and tie, actually. So donate that.
The first impressions are always the best.
Absolutely.
So when our clients are out there trying to get themselves back together, we want them to apply for the job looking their best.
Absolutely. Yeah. And let's face it, how many times you yourself are more confident, more, like, yeah, I am pretty sharp when you get dressed up for something.
Absolutely.
Like you go, even if it's just for weddings or funerals, you're still looking like, dang, I look pretty sharp.
Pretty good. And if you look good, you feel good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's no different, especially for people that have been told otherwise for so long, and they're now coming out of that turmoil. So.
Exactly. And their mindset and their attitude is greatly dependent on how good they feel about themselves.
Sure. Their self-worth's low, so they're relying on others to kind of feed that.
And we have an amazing, you've met Valerie. She's our shelter manager. She is just amazing. We now have a retired teacher that's coming and tutoring the children.
Oh, cool.
They're doing lots of different paint workshops and just different things.
Helping making it like a home.
Well, it's just amazing the job that Valerie's done. She's done a major turnaround. Kind of before I could see how felt a little maybe sanitary, like you're in a hospital type.
Mm-hmm.
Valerie's put art up on the walls, and we've got actual throw rugs in the
She brought home
the
back to
common
the
area.
house. Yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
right. So she has done an amazing job.
And I would imagine that, and this is the part that I don't think people get, is that's sometimes the difference between success and failure for people that are in this scenario, because they're victims of domestic violence. They've been beat down physically, mentally, emotionally, and let's face it, they've got to get built back up. They got to get their self-confidence, their self-awareness, their own self-worth up again, because it's been
no telling how long they've been beat down.
Yes, and so part of it is reestablishing trust, connections, but also part of it is for them to accept that they're good people. You almost have to saturate them with that information to get it to register and sink in, because they've been, could be years, could be whatever that time, could be their whole lifetime, they've been told otherwise, or they've been convinced otherwise. And I don't care what you say, that takes, sometimes it takes a lifetime to get that out of your head.
I don't know if you ever get over it.
Yeah. And
I think that's something that being a survivor of domestic violence, I can tell you that.
Well, if you've been dealing with that, and then later on when you're, quote unquote out of it, and then you make a mistake, because we all make mistakes.
Absolutely.
We're humans. Are you going to look at it like, well, see, they must have been right. See, the mistake proves they were right, not these other people.
Right.
And so it's easy to kind of flashback into that or revert into that mindset when something doesn't go your way, and it kind of reinforces the old behavior a little bit. And that's what they have to deal with the rest of their life. So we've got to go the other way.
That's all in, that boils down to our advocates and our shelter manager.
Sure.
They're the ones that carry the brunt of the load to make sure that this person is receiving that. Way to go. You're doing a great job.
But what goes a long way to make that happen is people that try to make it homey, that for no reason other than they want to help, come by and drop off towels or food or toys or whatever it is they're bringing.
The thing of it is 9 times out of 10, Mike, I'm never ever going to come and say, nope, don't need anything. It's probably never going to happen.
Yeah.
But, we are very appreciative of the community because, the word does get out there. Thank you for always having us in.
Anytime.
I do want to bring this up right quick. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
It is. So you're probably going to see some stuff, and it's going to make you sad, and it's all just to let you remember.
We have our candlelight vigil. On October 13th.
Okay.
At the Anderson Museum.
Okay.
It will start at 5:30.
Kind of upped your game. I mean, Pioneer Plaza is nice and cool, but it's not a highfalutin museum there.
Yes, and shout out to Anderson Museum. They have been so gracious that they donate us the building.
Very nice.
They don't charge us. They're amazing over there.
Either before or after the candlelight vigil, please walk around that beautiful facility.
Oh, it's amazing.
See the exhibits.
It is amazing.
Maybe go early and maybe use that as a little motivation during your candlelight, because use that as your thing. Let's let the next generation live so they can do this, and do these things.
And we always, our vigil, before we had it outside, and it was very nice that, it was outside.
Absolutely.
But, some of our people are a little bit older and
we like air conditioning.
and we like heater when because we've done it when it was freezing cold.
Yeah, you've seen both in October.
Yes, absolutely. You just never know. So it's very nice that, we're able to do it inside, and they get to enjoy the beautiful art as well.
It is. It's a real. It's one of Roswell's great treasures. Please,
it is amazing.
Have you never been in? Use domestic violence as your foot in the door,
there
and then
go.
come and check it out. But if you've never been a part of the candlelight vigil, it's a solemn ceremony. It's an opportunity for victims' families to speak, to victims that are success stories to speak. anyone that really has been
Absolutely.
affected by domestic violence in any way, shape, or form. It's a place for us to come together and share experiences. And at the end of the day, the whole point of this thing is to say we're not alone. We're all together.
Absolutely.
We all go through tough things. Let's all be good people and help each other out and know the signs, see the signs. When we see others exhibiting displays of things that were done to us, don't just ignore it. Do things about do things to address that. Be active about it. That's what this is about. To remember those that made the sacrifice, celebrate the ones that have won their battles, and let's remember that we need to keep doing our part so not any more people have to suffer for this.
And unfortunately, it's one of those situations that we would like to say maybe the awareness at some point will alleviate the DV. That's never going to happen. You and I both know that. But, Lauren's classes should, of course, her classes are for the offender.
Yes.
It's just amazing that there was a client that to look at him, he looks like you and I, he had a prominent job in town and he was in class and he told me, he said, I didn't know the monster I was.
See,
when he came to
that's the vicious cycle part of domestic violence.
But that's when you're doing your job.
Sure.
And
it's for him to have the self-awareness to understand that is you have to commend that because let's face it, most offenders, the abuser, 9 times out of 10 were victims earlier in life as a child or a younger adult or whenever.
And drugs and alcohol.
Not that we're defending their actions because we don't want to defend the actions. However, if that's all you know, what are you going to do when it's your turn in that position?
Well,
and that's in essence what they've done.
If you grew up and seen it, we go back to the days that people didn't get divorced. You stayed married. You stayed with the family regardless.
Yeah.
My mom didn't leave. My dad didn't leave.
They suffered.
They seen it their whole entire life. It's learned behavior.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You need to break the cycle.
Sure. And that's where so when you guys have the offenders classes and those people that participate them, we need to celebrate those people as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, because they are aware and they're trying to change that way. It's easy to vilify people when they do horrible things. Because it's horrible stuff, and you're like, but, and I'm not condoning you because you never want to say that's okay that you beat people. We forgive you. Yes, you want to say that eventually, but at the same time, if they're growing, if they're saying, you know what, I didn't understand, I didn't have the tools to do it any other way.
And tools are the perfect word. With the HEAL program that Lauren teaches.
Yeah,
it is literally tools.
Sure.
And, most of the time, unfortunately, our offenders, men, women, both, they're mad.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that or I didn't do it.
In their head, they probably feel like victims too.
Absolutely.
Well, I dealt with it, no problem. And by the way, if you just did what I asked, I would have never done it to begin with.
Absolutely.
They have that defensive mindset.
So Lauren teaches them, like I said, the HEAL program, and she gives them the tools. Now, how to fix the carburetor, but if you don't use the right tool, you're not going to be able to fix it.
Yeah, if you're trying to fix a carburetor with your finger and that's it,
you've got to have the correct tools in order to learn this is not appropriate behavior.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Lauren does an amazing job. She's great at what she does. By the way, I don't know if you know, her and her fiance are the proud parents of a baby girl.
Oh, congratulations!
Yes. So she's just beautiful. Lauren has just now came back.
Well, I was about to say, is she still
back.
Being mommy right now, or is she back?
Well, she's
still being mommy, but not full time. She has to go do a day job now.
Yes, absolutely. It's still, I don't know. I think being mommy's the hardest job.
I would not get any disagreement on this part.
Her name is Riley Quinn.
Oh,
she's just precious. So we have a new
to
addition.
The world.
Yes.
Has she been able to come by the office and everything?
She did bring her. She brought her. She's keeps her pretty well at home because she hasn't had her vaccinations.
Well, she's a newborn baby. And
right, but she brought her to the office, so we got to give loves.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Well, they need that too.
And then Jenna, of course, she had a baby in April.
Yeah,
Jenna does our TROs.
You're just great in the next generation of refuge.
Boy, I'm telling you, we're starting them young.
Staff and everything, right?
There you go.
Good deal. But please, folks, if you you know what, this week is the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. The Roswell Refuge has a booth. You guys are in the commercial building out at the fair there. Come by if you're looking for information. If you have questions about things, if you want to know, if you want to share a story and say, I suspect something. I mean, if you're looking for resources, if you're looking for information, if you have questions about something you're not sure about, and you're looking for an opinion or second advice, answers, please don't hesitate to come in. That's there for.
Our table is purely information.
Yeah.
Whether it be domestic violence, whether it be sexual assault, whether it be classes.
Can I ask a question? Because I don't want to overburden you, but I want to give it as an opportunity. If people dropped donations off at the booth, is that okay?
I would make it work.
Okay.
We'd make it work.
I mean, don't be rolling up with a couch or nothing, but if a monetary, or if you're like, look, I got a bag of clothes here, or I got a microwave, or I got a coffee pot.
Certainly.
Okay.
We'd make it work.
All right, cool. I didn't want to mess you guys up in anything, but I'm thinking, it might be convenient for some people to make a donation.
We figure it out one way or the other.
Okay. Now, granted, if you walk into the fair with a microwave under your arm,
probably going to get some funny looks, but just to let it be known. But we certainly have the information on anything that we do as an agency.
Okay.
Also with our SANE program.
Gotcha. Yes.
So
because if you're not familiar, and I know we kind of jumped right in. I usually give the full explainer, and we just kind of started going, but the SANE program, it's they deal with victims of sexual assault. They are also kind of a partner there at the refuge.
Yes.
They're a different organization as far as the paperwork and everything goes, but they work together. They work in concert. The staffs work hand in hand on projects and things like that. It's they're different in name only, but they share the same goals and just a little slightly different mission statement.
Different agents.
Yes, different agents. But they deal with victims of sexual assault, both criminally and medically.
Yes.
So say a person comes in that's a rape victim or sexual assault victim, first these fine folks come in and take care of them medically.
Immediately, Kim Hansen is our sexual nurse examiner.
Yes, and
in
she does,
our office, and I couldn't do her job.
It takes a strong mindset to be able to pull that off every day.
I've seen her in tears many times over cases.
It's a job where you could get easy emotional and easily angry.
And she's a very, very good person.
Yeah.
So,
I'm one of those people that when I see people that are victims and I see them suffering, and then I see the person I get angry. I'm that one that I'm like, I'm going to go level that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can understand to not get to that place.
Well, and
it takes a certain patience,
right?
That I don't have.
And I don't have it. So because she has mentioned to me to do some work for her, and I said, "Oh, Kim, I couldn't.
Yeah,
I just couldn't do that.
Yeah, I understand.
And most especially when it comes to children.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm not trying to, but I know your own personal story, and some of that comes into play very much as part of that.
Absolutely.
Too. So, but what I want to say is they first help these victims medically.
Yes.
If they've got medical, that's priority one. However, if the victim chooses, this is all victim controls the flow of this treatment here. But if the victim chooses to collect evidence for the prosecution,
she's right there in court.
Then she's the one that helps collect that evidence.
Absolutely.
And then of course she's also the one talking her through it and things. And if I'm guessing if someone's now at the end of the day she always grants the wishes, but if someone's a little apprehensive about prosecuting and things, she might talk to them and show them the realities of, if you do not, you're allowing this to keep continuing.
Right.
And
the thing that is most as important is to let them know that she's there.
Yes.
I'll stand beside you every step of the way.
She was going to support you regardless of the direction you go. Now, obviously, she might talk to you a little bit and say, this is the benefits of doing it this way.
Right.
I recommend it, but whatever you feel
It's up to
comfortable
you.
doing.
It's up to you.
That's, but it's all done in that loving, caring.
Absolutely.
The victim is the VIP here. Let's get them with the utmost respect and support that we can possibly give them right now.
Absolutely.
So that's their goal. That's what they want to do.
100%.
And then I imagine at that point, that's where the refuge folks come in and start taking care of putting their lives back together. And
If need be.
If
Yes,
need
of
be.
course.
Yeah, if need be, of course. and
Those
helping do it.
situations, you just never know.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a situation where then we step in on our side, that's when Kim will come and say, hey, look, this is going on.
Yeah.
And
Every case is different. It
Every
just
case is
depends
different.
on
Absolutely.
every story here. So, in the meantime, please support by making donations. Come by the refuge if you'd like to make a note. Probably call ahead.
Yes.
Call the office, and we'll give you the number here in a bit. And just ask first, but say, hey, I've got some shirts, or I got a bag of clothes, or I got a teapot, or I got some decor, some art and things. Just because it's not functional doesn't mean you can't donate
Right.
it. Like
Absolutely.
I said, if they can't use it directly, then others can go buy it. And then, so if you donate some piece of expensive art or old art that you don't want, they will turn that into useful things for
Absolutely.
the Roswell Refuge. Don't worry about
Right.
that. But if you want to donate those kind of things for the shelter itself, that they're looking for items like bedding, toiletries, washcloths, towels, soaps, conditioners,
Body
washes, hairspray,
toothpaste.
Yeah. Buy the family size, not the travel size.
Right.
The travel size. If you do pick it up, or that's what you have, donate it. Bring it. If they can't use it direct, they usually give it to homeless, things
Yes.
like that. People that come by in need. So it gets utilized by
used.
people that need it. But for the home itself, they prefer the family size, the big, family size
Well,
bottles, because they
reason
take it
being
with them.
Well, and reason being is that it's not like they're just going to be there a day or
Yeah,
two.
on average, they're there a month or so, right? Maybe longer.
Maybe
depending-
longer.
Yeah, it just depends
Exactly.
on each story. But
Exactly.
but-
And they take, when they leave, they take all of those things with
Sure.
them. It's
Yeah.
not something that's
It's not like you say, still
okay.
half a bottle here, you're good to go.
Yeah.
No, you
they
get your own
take
bottle.
everything. Absolutely.
It's just like home, and
Exactly.
things like that. But any of that stuff, please, and I know, because some of you are like, man, we're going to do a yard sale and all that, but then you get down, I don't want to price all this I don't want to
mess with
pull
this.
it all out. Then they got to do a haggle and take a nickel and all that mess. I'm like, just take it, go away. You're just trying to get rid of it.
Right.
And
Right.
so save you all that headache. Call Kay and say, look, I got some stuff here. Maybe we can start piecemeal bringing some stuff here, and then we'll talk about some of the bigger ticket items and things, and that way everything gets up. You could tax write it off and
Absolutely.
take care of all that.
We have that.
No problem. But at the end of the day, every pot you donate, every collectible that you didn't sell at your yard sale that has value that you're given, could provide a necessity for a family in this community or for a person in this community.
And that's our goal.
Absolutely. So please help donate, collect, and like you said, next time you go to the store to pick up your paper towels and toilet papers and all that stuff for your homes, grab a few extra and donate it to the refuge.
Yes,
all of it
please.
gets helped. It will be used.
It will be utilized.
Absolutely. If anybody has any questions about donating or any of that stuff, give the main office number, that number that they should call for that kind of stuff.
575-624-3222.
Okay. And that's any non-emergency business with the refuge. That's the phone number.
And our number 24-hour number to the shelter is 575-627-8361.
Yeah, that's
a 24-hour
hotline. It is if you are suffering and you want to call and reach out, that number is for you. If you are a person that suspects something and you don't know how to handle it, call that number.
Absolutely.
If you are an abuser and you realize what's going on and you're seeking help, please call that number.
Call Lauren. Normally, when the judge sends the abusers to Lauren's side, they have to pay for classes. If you decide I need to do something, this is not. You can voluntarily,
and it's free of charge.
Do the classes. It is free of charge.
Yeah. So if you yourself are self-aware enough to understand this ain't right what I'm doing, make that phone call. Make the step. I know it's a hard, embarrassing, tough thing that you're trying to navigate through.
It's actually,
but when you
a person is to be
celebrated
that has the knowledge that what they're doing is incorrect, and it will wind you up in serious trouble.
Yeah, we all have flaws. We all have
absolutely.
Faults. We all make mistakes. It's not the lesson here is not that you make a mistake. It's what you do about it.
Exactly.
Do you cover it up? Do you pretend it doesn't exist and move on, or do you address it and try to fix it before it gets worse?
And the thing of it is that it is embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you've been a victim or you've been the offender, on both sides, it's embarrassing.
That's why there's so much secretive
Well, that's what I always say. We're that dirty little secret people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
That's why we come on here and talk with you, so that if you reach one person,
you saved a life.
My short time that I'm with you this morning, if we reach one person, then we've done an amazing job.
Absolutely. It's things. So please, one more time, give out the hotline number, the 24/7 number.
575-627-8361. That is the 24-hour hotline.
Yes, 7 days a week, 24/7. Someone will answer that phone. You can remain anonymous. You're in control if you're a victim and you just want to vent, talk. That's what it's there for. If you're ready to do something more than talk and physically get you out of this path to what you're in right now, then they can help you with that too. Again, much like the SANE program, the victim is in control of the pace of how this goes.
100.
And that is and that's what it's all about here. So please reach out to that number, please. And just real quick, I know way before COVID and all that, you guys are doing remodel and letting folks come in and do.
Mm-hmm.
Are we at a point where that kind of stuff may happen again?
We're still in need of a contractor that would be willing to come and help us. We're utilizing what we can.
Okay.
Which we are full.
Okay.
But we do need some work done.
Okay. But it's more than just decorating. You need contractor work.
Yes.
Carpenters, electricians, plumbers, things like that. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's very expensive.
Yeah. So I know
anybody that would like to.
Not that any of the people in those industries are looking for work right now, because I'm pretty sure they're all very busy.
Yes.
However, if somebody out there is listening and saying, you know what, I'd like to donate some of my time and my skill set,
please give us a call.
Even if it's a couple hours on a weekend or whatever it is, it would be greatly appreciated. You're doing God's work by doing that.
Absolutely.
Because I know you're probably busier and all get out, and you probably probably doing pretty well right now financially, and you're like, I don't have time to do this. But if you do make some time,
but we are
donate
supposed to be servants.
Yeah, and so
we all need to do what we can to help.
Exactly. You coming out and unclogging some plumbing or fixing some electrical issues is the difference between success and failure for these folks.
You got some extra flooring that you haven't been able to really utilize. I mean,
we're always. And I imagine too, and I don't know all the rules there, but because it's a facility like it is, you probably have to have like licensed people that are
absolutely.
Yes. I know you do-it-yourselfers love doing this stuff, but they probably
unfortunately we can't.
Yeah, they don't have the certifications to do it in an environment like this.
Exactly.
So that's the reason. But normally we'd love to have you do.
Absolutely, of course.
Good deal.
If we could, we would.
Absolutely. Well, do we get it all? I think so.
I just want to mention the Candlelight Vigil again.
Oh, yeah, one more time.
October 13th at 5:30 to 7, and we will be at the Anderson Museum.
Yes, like and follow the Roswell Refuge Facebook page.
Yes.
That way you can stay up to date on events like this and anything else. And, of course, it's a great resource for information about domestic violence and sexual assault. If you're looking for resources for many facets of that area, the Refuge is your resource.
Go by our booth at the fair, pick up some information, and talk to the
girls. They got stickers and fun stuff for the kids too. So bring the kids by and let's all come and meet. And like I said, if you got questions, concerns, issues, any of that stuff, please reach out. That's what they're there for, to help you.
Yes.
So
Mike, thanks for having us on.
Anytime.
Again.
Good to see you again today. And
as well.
And hopefully one day I'd love to come in and be like, please don't donate any more stuff. We got so much stuff. We're filled to the rafters.
We're always glad to see you.
but come by it.
Yes. Just come by and shop.
There you go.
Right now, I did forget to mention, right now it will be through the month of October.
Okay.
We're having our $5 bag sale.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
What you can get in the bag?
What you can get in the bag is what you get for $5.
Uh-oh. So y'all might be able to shut the place down if you
we're hoping we get it cleaned out, yes.
So all those experts at packing the trunk for vacations and whatnot, bring them with you.
Yes, bring
to the shopping
them.
sale, and they will make sure every ounce of that bag is filled
utilized.
with
product.
Right. Good deal. Thank you, Kay. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much,
all right.
Mike.
It is 8:56.
Now, a Pecos Valley News update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Thanks for joining us. Our top story today, the Cy Palmer Memorial Car Seat Clinic is planned for this weekend. On Saturday at the Bulldog Stadium in Artesia, the annual clinic is held as a celebration of life and remembrance for Cy Palmer, a 7-year-old boy who tragically lost his life as a result of a car accident in 2017. If you are interested in participating in the car seat clinic, take your car seat, the manual, your car's owner manual, and your child to the clinic from 10 a.m. to noon on Saturday, again at Bulldog Stadium. Artesia Mayor John Henry will issue a proclamation to raise awareness for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The proclamation will be made on Monday and then presented to Grammy's House, a local domestic violence shelter. Grammy's House seeks to provide a safe environment for victims and child witness victims of domestic violence. You're up to date with local news headlines. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
There's at least one thing most New Mexicans agree on. Our schools have a long way to go. That's why Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is breathing new life into public education with initiatives that support our children from their first baby steps to promising career paths. Like expanding in-home family services, early childhood and pre-K, so thousands more kids will go off to school healthy and ready to learn. And attracting new teachers by raising salaries to the highest in the Southwest. It's already paying off by recruiting hundreds of new teachers to our classrooms this year. And she is cutting teacher paperwork and administrative burdens by 41%, so they have more time to teach our children. Thanks to the governor's new Opportunity Scholarships, any New Mexican can now attend a state college for free to earn a certificate or degree in a wide range of high-demand fields. After 2 tough years, we're finally making progress in education. We can't afford to go back to the failed policies of the past.
Paid for by New Mexicans for Michelle.
Approved by Michelle Lujan Grisham.
A Greek-Canadian man invented the Hawaiian pizza. His name was Tex Colorado, and he was from Detroit. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. We're closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News up next. Stay tuned next hour. We're going to replay our interview we had with John LeMay from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, talking about their spooky Halloween event and his latest books as well. That's up next. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomas. Although the glass is already half empty, it looks like President Biden will drain even more oil from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Couple of
106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Releases from the emergency stockpile following OPEC's decision to cut its oil production by 2 million barrels a day. The weekly jobs report is just in.
According to the Labor Department, jobless claims for the week ending October 1st rose by 29,000 to 219,000. Last week's number was revised down by 3,000 to 190,000. The Federal Reserve takes labor force data into consideration when making its rate decisions, but the more important data comes Friday in the form of the September jobs report.
Correspondent Jeremy House. The search for a kidnapped family of 4 in Central California has come to a tragic end.
Horribly senseless as to what happened here.
In video provided by the Merced County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Vern Warnke says the bodies of 8-month-old Aruhi Derry, her 27-year-old mother, 36-year-old father, and 39-year-old uncle have been found. Surveillance video shows the family kidnapped at gunpoint from their business in Merced on Monday. The sheriff says the bodies were found Wednesday in an orchard in Merced County. Accused of the killings is 48-year-old Jesus Salgado, who's in critical condition after authorities say he tried to kill himself. I'm Donna Warner.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says while there is a long way to go, recovery efforts well underway in areas devastated by Hurricane Ian. Thousands remain without power, and utility crews are working round the clock to restore service. A storm blamed for more than 100 deaths. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 154 points. The Nasdaq, 11 points lower. More on these stories, townhall.com.
You were lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? You need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have 383 employees and have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. If you were told at a timeshare presentation that this was available today and today only, that timeshare was a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, call my office now. I guarantee you, if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
A tense atmosphere prevails on the Korean peninsula.
North Korea has launched 2 ballistic missiles towards its eastern waters. Meanwhile, the United States has redeployed one of its aircraft carriers near the Korean peninsula in response to the North's recent launch of a powerful missile over Japan. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, says these numerous launches are unlawful.
These launches violate multiple Security Council resolutions and pose a threat to not only the region, but to the entire international community.
South Korea has boosted its surveillance posture and maintains a readiness in close coordination with the United States. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A Lebanese judge has fined and issued a 6-month travel ban to a woman who stormed her bank in Beirut with a fake gun and took her trapped savings in order to cover the cost of her sister's cancer treatment. News and analysis at townhall.com. Questions being raised about food labeling practices, specifically those best by dates that are found on some products.
Manufacturers have used the labels for decades to estimate peak freshness. Unlike use-by labels, which are found on perishable foods like meat and dairy, best before labels have nothing to do with safety and may encourage consumers to throw away food that's perfectly fine to eat. To tackle the problem, major UK chains like Waitrose, Sainsbury's, and Marks & Spencer recently removed best before labels from prepackaged fruit and vegetables. The European Union is expected to announce a revamp to its labeling law by the end of this year. It's considering abolishing best before labels altogether. Keith Peters reporting.
Looks like Britain wants to make up with the European Union. New Prime Minister Liz Truss and her ministers say they want to solve a bitter dispute with the EU over post-Brexit trade rules. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. We have power.
Yes.
We kind of lost it for a minute during the last hour.
And we're back.
It did knock us off the radio.
Nope.
because we were only off for like a minute, or not even, maybe 30 seconds.
God bless the UPS. And no, I don't mean the delivery service.
Not in this case.
The battery backups.
They bailed us out before, but
they have.
In this instance, not that UPS. No. Brown did not work for us that time.
Mm-hmm.
That was a different UPS.
It was less of a brownout and more of a blackout.
There you go. But, yeah, hopefully we're done with that. But thank goodness y'all didn't notice, I don't think, because we never went off of the air or nothing. So,
as far as we can tell, yeah.
Yeah, but good 30 seconds, we're all sitting in the dark going, hey, what happened?
Well, what do we do? Which is proof positive that as soon as, like, anything happens in, like, America, like the dystopian future, 30 seconds in, we're screwed.
Oh, yeah.
We're all just sitting there like, what do we do now?
And then we start looting grocery stores.
That's right. We're heading to the Walmart.
Oh, man. Well, happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes.
Hope your day's going well.
Dude, you triggered something in my head just now.
I did.
Like, what you were talking about tones.
Oh, yeah,
I heard the the Snapchat sound, and I can't for some reason get my phone to use the default sounds for like certain apps.
Yeah.
It's just like all defaulting to my normal notification tone, which bothers me because I like the Snapchat sound. But anyways,
it makes you happy inside.
It reminded Mike that the sound that it plays before what was it? You said it was
it's FX.
FX.
I'm not sure if it's on the TV channel, but like if you watch like on Hulu FX programming,
right?
And like right before the show starts, FX puts up their little logo, and it's that FX logo. But there's a tone, like a music tone that kind of goes gung, gung, and it's very reminiscent of something from the 80s that I haven't quite placed my finger on. I feel like As the World Turns or something in that vein, something from my childhood that I remember having to see, and that because every time I hear it, it like triggers my brain, and I'm like, that sound. You know the other one that's been getting me, and I wish someone would call somebody out on this.
Okay.
Because my wife is a news watcher at the 5 o'clock news and everything. Every night we're pretty much watching nightly, the night news and all that.
Sure.
Well, every once in a while we end up on NBC, and then at 5:30 the national NBC nightly news with Lester Holt comes on. And here's my beef, because no one's called this out. And I'm like, when is someone going to say this? Lester Holt ends every one of his newscasts with his slogan. Kind of like with Ron Burgundy and, stay classy, San Diego, that thing. And his sign-off is, I want everyone to take care of yourself and each other. Good night. And then he ends this, he does it every show that way. You're like, oh, that's sweet. That's not his. He stole that.
That's,
That wording, everything, the way he does it, the inflection, he stole it. And you know who he stole it from? Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer.
Except for he never said, I want you. He always would say, take care of yourself.
I think, and to be honest, I may have paraphrased that part when I said it, when I was telling the story. But Lester Holt says it just like Jerry Springer at the end of every one of Jerry Springer's, the ones with all the fighting, the whole nine. And then Jerry would have his little Jerry's thoughts at the end. And then he'd always end it with take care of yourself and each other. Good night. And I'm like, Lester Holt stole that from Jerry Springer, and no one will acknowledge this.
Fair enough, but I would argue that some of the best ideas in the world are plagiarized.
Well, fine, but give him a nod. Because Jerry Springer, everyone looks at him as a rube. And I'm not saying he isn't, but
so what you're saying
credit.
Is maybe, just maybe, have like a bottom chyron of like two meth heads just throwing down for like a piece of bread.
Just give him a nod to Jerry Springer because you're wheezing on his gig, man.
You're wheezing on his gig. I will say this, and I don't think I've ever actually admitted this on the radio, but my original sign-off phrase, I actually stole pretty much verbatim from a guy who was on overnight radio here in Roswell at the time. His name was Chris Lethko, Crash Test Chris. And his sign-off was, keep your hands on the wall, keep reaching for the phone, and remember that no matter where you go, there you are.
I remember you used to say the there you go, where you are part. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stole that verbatim. I've never admitted that on the radio, but the statute of limitations is lifted. I'm sure it's fine.
But yeah, that one always gets under my craw for some reason. I don't know why. Every night that I watch that nightly news and I take care of each other, something.
Well, what it triggered in my head was, and this is, most people who are my age to your age will probably remember this, for a time when, in like the 80s and 90s, anytime HBO would run a feature presentation.
Oh, yeah, the big intro.
They had this amazing intro.
It did get you like, ooh, it's time for a big movie.
And it exists in like a bubble of its own, in like a crystallized time period. Because nowadays, nothing like that would fly. I mean, you need something short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
Our attention spans just don't handle it. But they put everything into this open, up to and including showing like stuff happening inside of the apartments in the stop motion model town that they were flying over.
Oh yeah,
it was like, it's kind of like if you go to the train station at the fairgrounds.
Yeah,
the intricacy of the trees with like all the little leaves on. It's such a nostalgic thing, and I still to this day will never forget that.
Yeah,
into the sky and the da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, that.
Da da da.
And it was in we'll see what was going in its heyday. The Saturday nights were like the premiere movie night on HBO. If they got the big blockbuster movie coming to HBO, they premiere it Saturday nights, 8 o'clock.
That
East
was
Coast.
everybody used to say, "What's Saturday's movie?"
Exactly.
Yep.
And they would premiere that movie with that big long intro every time.
I always loved how you'd, and because I like fractals. I like going like and down like tunnels. You're like, oh, well, I want to go that way.
Yeah.
You always ended up inside the O, and you could like see the ring from the inside of the O as you're cruising along. That always, I don't know why that excited me so much.
They actually had a couple different versions of that.
They did, yeah.
The one you're talking about is the full one. They had shorter versions of it where it kind of picked up in the streets,
just in the
and then it went into space up to the HBO thing or whatever it did.
Right.
But the full length one, the one Sean's talking about, it starts out like in a living room, and you hear the boop with the TV come on, and then it kind of pans away to a couple sitting on the couch, and then it pans out, and then that whole time you're just hearing like wind and like oh. And then it kind of pans out. And then once you get to the street, the music starts kicking in, and then it takes you. And then by the time that all happens, you're like ready to run through a wall. Let's watch a movie.
You're like, oh my God, what is it? Is it another 48 hours? I'm in. Last Boy Scout? Oh my God.
Men in tights. Yes.
Nothing that you're about to show me cinematically could be quite as epic as that intro.
Silverado.
It's like tonight's feature presentation of Ed TV.
Right. Oh my God, those stupids.
Right, exactly. It was always like, some like, was it? You've got mail.
Yeah. Tonight's freezer presentation. Dude, where's my car?
There were two. I will say this too. There were two letters growing up as a young boy that were very special. If you ever had like the free preview weekend of like the HBO, and those two letters were BN.
Yeah.
Brief nudity.
Yeah.
Because that's a treasure map is what that is. Because you're like, all right, I've got 90 minutes. I've got this back button.
Yeah. Kids had a different back then.
It was an interesting time to be a child. You took what you got.
Yeah. But I remember, man, that was a big deal back in the day. I just remember, and then later, like 90s, more 90s, is when they turned Sunday nights into their original programming night. And
Arliss.
Yeah, well, it started with what was that? Their very first show, like,
Oz, wasn't it?
No, before that, it was a comedy.
Oh, really?
And it was what was the name of that first?
Hold on,
comedy?
was it the Larry Sanders Show?
No, before Larry Sanders.
Really?
The very first one. It's not that big like those. It didn't catch on as big as I can't remember.
Right now.
It was about a guy. All I remember is the wife was an actress you see in 20 different things now. What was the name? I can't remember.
I don't have my phone on me right now, or I'd be Googling it.
But these were all a precursor to your Larry Sanders and
because I remember
and
I remember the Larry Sanders Show. I remember Arliss was big for a minute.
This was before all those.
Right. Was Oz? The Wire wasn't HBO. That was
it was. The Wire was HBO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Originally.
Right. The first like 2 or 3 seasons. I've only ever seen like the first 2 seasons of it. I need to watch into it.
But yeah, all pre-did, and then Sopranos is the one that kind of blew it all up. Oh, what was the name? Like something Dream On? Maybe Dream On?
That could be Dream. Yeah,
Dream On.
Dream On
sounds like the name of what I'm thinking of. I'll have to go look it up, but I feel like Dream On was the name of the show. Starring it was about a guy, and like I think he was divorced, but I just don't. And he had a job like a office job. I just don't remember the the whole premise of the show. But Dream On was, and it was kind of adult themed because that was the big deal. It was like a sitcom.
On HBO.
It was a sitcom, just like you'd watch on ABC or NBC or CBS, but it had cussing and brief nudity.
And I remember there was one, and this is many years later, that sort of had that same theme. It was Louis C.K.'s like first.
Yeah, I remember that show.
First sitcom. I can't remember what it was. It was like not Good Luck Chuck. It was called some.
That's a bad movie.
That's a terrible movie. It was something else, which is actually funny because it was Dane Cook in that movie, who Dane Cook's accused Louis C.K. of stealing his material. But anyways, I digress. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was very much that same vein. It's like, oh, it's just a sitcom, 3-camera sitcom with a laugh track and all that. But they just said the F word. What?
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember the name of that show either, but I know what you're talking about. So anyway, we're useless this morning.
We are.
They'll just give you the rundown. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a bit.
Just play us from better times.
That's right. When our brains are more operational. Then here in just a few minutes, we're going to play our interview we had with John LeMay from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. Talked about their spooky event with Donna Blake Burchell. That's coming up October 23rd, Spooky Southwest Tales of Strange History. Talked about that event, talked about some of his books, and he had a trip to Las Vegas, New Mexico, earlier, and talked a little bit about that too. So we'll play that interview here in just a bit. Later on, we'll get you up to date with news of the local variety, along with your Wall Street Town Hall business update and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. Before we do anything else, let us get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Cool temperatures and some showers around through the upcoming weekend with low pressure over southern New Mexico and some moist air coming in. Cloudy today, low 70s and a few showers and thunderstorms around. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and mid-50s, and then Friday looks about the same. A mix of sunshine and clouds through about midday, and then a few afternoon thunderstorms, upper 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 60 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 90%. Winds currently out of the north at 7 miles per hour. Rain chances continue for the rest of the week. 40% chance of rain for today. Cloudy. 74 for a high. Winds out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, chance of rain's at 30%. Partly cloudy. Could see some patchy fog after midnight as well. Looking at an overnight low of 57 with east winds at 5 miles per hour. 30% chance of rain for your Friday. Mostly cloudy, high of 76. North winds at around 5 miles per hour. 40% chance of rain Friday night. Overnight low of 57 with east winds at around 10 miles per hour. And then looking at the weekend on Saturday, we're looking at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon. Mostly cloudy. Highs near 70, so we might even get to 70 on Saturday. And then Sunday, we're looking at a 60% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, and 71. And rain chances continuing to first part of next week as well, too. So the rain is on the forecast.
So during the 1990s, HBO began developing a reputation for high quality and irreverent original programming. It was throughout this decade that the network experienced increasing success among audiences and acclaim for television critics for the original series, such as Tales from the Crypt, a horror anthology series, and Dream On from eventual Friends creators Marta Kaufman and David Crane, which utilized clips from black and white television series to illustrate the thoughts of divorced New York City book editor Martin Tupper.
There you go.
Tracy Takes On was a sketch
that was
comedy
Tracy
show.
Ullman. Yeah,
Yes,
I
it was.
that one.
And, of course, Mr. Show with Bob and David.
Yeah.
Series hosted by Bob Odenkirk and David Cross. One of the early scripted comedy programs that premiered early in the decade, Gary Shandling's vehicle, The Larry Sanders Show.
That was a big hit.
Arguably became HBO's flagship of the 1990s. Driving in, trying to find more.
Yeah, Larry Sanders Show kind of put it all on the map as far as people like, hey, HBO's doing some good. But Dream On was like one of the first sitcoms, if I remember. And then, Tracy Ullman, Tales from the Crypt, those were, kind of staples.
And then
too.
Curb sort of like took on that reign.
Did they mention not necessarily the news, or does that kind of predate that a little bit?
I didn't see it in that list.
Because that was early on HBO, too.
I didn't see it on that list, but I'm sure it's in there at some point.
Yeah, so. All right, it is... was
that the Jon Stewart originally, or...?
I don't think that was him.
No?
I think that was a little before his time.
Daily Show.
I think that was a little before his time, but I want to say Newman was on it.
Oh, really?
Newman was one of the reporters.
George Wendt?
No,
not George Wendt.
What's his name?
I know who you're talking
from
about.
Jurassic Park, from Seinfeld. Newman.
The name right now.
That guy.
I said George Wendt.
That's the Cheers guy.
Yeah, that's Norm. It's close.
But
Wayne
Knight.
Knight.
Thank you. Yeah, he was one of the reporters, if I remember right, on not necessarily the news. Seemed to be, he was one of the cast.
Well, I know you got an interview to get to. I'll do some research.
Yeah, you go. We'll dig and give the whole dissertation here in a little bit. All right, it is 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take about a 3-minute break, and then we'll play our interview with John LeMay from the Historical Society on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Hello, I'm Tara Mitcha, State Director for the National Rifle Association, letting you know that the NRA Political Victory Fund endorses State Representative Greg Nybert for re-election in House District 59. Greg has worked relentlessly to support our Second Amendment rights and to oppose legislation that restricts law-abiding gun owners. Progressive politicians in Santa Fe have an agenda that would erode our right to protect our families, our homes, and ourselves. Greg Nybert will vigorously oppose those who want to tread on our right to keep and bear arms and our precious liberty and freedom. He is a true friend of the Second Amendment and of our sporting heritage in New Mexico. Vote Greg Nybert, representative for House District 59.
I'm Greg Nybert, and I ask you to please vote for me for House District 59. Voting begins on October 11th, and Election Day is November 8th.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Representative. Richard Taylor, Treasurer. Sometimes when you hit the road hits back. That's why MTA Mechanics and Tire carries major brands like Bridgestone, Cooper, and Michelin. Not only do you get top brand tires, but you also get a nationwide warranty. So wherever you are, MTA Mechanics and Tire has you covered. Stop by or let MTA come to you with their MTA Mobile Tire Shop, covering Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. They can come to your home, office, or even the airport. And alignment is included on all sets of 4 tires. MTA Mechanics and Tires, getting you back on the road. Join Hot New Country 92.9 The Brand for a live broadcast this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Heirloom Acres, east of Artesia. Fall time is officially here, and that means Heirloom Acres is ready for the fun. Come explore and get lost in the massive 10-acre corn maze. Take a trip into the patch to pick your own pumpkins. Take a ride on the zip line and more. We'll be on hand from 10 to 1, getting you geared up for the season and telling you all that's waiting for you down on the farm. See you Saturday, 10 to 1 at Heirloom Acres, 1706 East Main in Artesia with
Have
the
you
brand.
noticed the days are getting shorter? This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but we're on the downhill side of the year, so every day is a couple of minutes shorter than the one before, even though your plants need plenty of food and water to keep them healthy. Like those globe willows that are turning yellow. A good dose of the right fertilizer will make them bright green again. No matter what the problems you're having, we probably have a cure at Roswell Seed Company. But come see us soon, because winter's coming, you know.
The preseason is in the books for your Roswell Coyotes, and with district play just 1 week away, now is your chance to get caught up on the Coyote season at ksvptv.com. Simply log on and click on the Roswell Coyotes tab so you can go back and get caught up on every Coyote game so far this season. Tell your friends and family worldwide that the place to go for all things Coyotes is ksvptv.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
It's possible to turn peanut butter into diamonds. Peter Pan tried it with his buddy Skippy, but they couldn't do it in a jiff. Here's Mike Winters.
Good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, John LeMay back with us. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you doing today?
I'm recovering. I had a wild weekend in Vegas.
Probably not the Vegas everyone's thinking of.
No, Las Vegas, New Mexico.
New Mexico.
It's just as wild.
Just as wild.
Yeah.
Just less places to lose all of your money in a short amount of time.
Yeah, for different reasons. Yeah.
That's right. But and then of course, maybe some folks know this, maybe others don't. Filming of what's the name of the movie now?
No Country for Old Men?
No, well maybe, but even older than that is the one with it's the one where the kids, it's in the 80s where the Wolverines, they take C. Thomas
Red
Howell's
Dawn.
Red Dawn, thank you. The original Red Dawn was filmed in Las
Okay,
Vegas,
I forget
New
about
Mexico.
that.
Yeah, not the remake, the one they did about 10 years ago,
Yeah.
the original one. I have no idea where the remake was done, but yeah, you were there not for these reasons, but for a historical reason, for sure.
Yeah, they had a really cool, they called it the Billy the Kid Shootout. It was
Okay.
a film festival.
Okay.
They showed, I think, just about every Billy the Kid movie they could find.
Okay.
You know, they showed Young Guns, The Left-Handed Gun with Paul Newman.
Okay.
The Kid with Chris Pratt. They had a new movie, I think it was made in France, that premiered there or something.
Neat.
It was just, yeah, it was a lot of cool stuff. It was a great event. I hope they do it again. And
I'm just thinking, what would it be like to watch a French film about a New Mexico legend?
Yeah.
That might be interesting. An interesting take on that.
And I missed it because it ran from like Thursday to Saturday, and I only got there Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see and all that. Was there, like, do people, I'm just curious, because it's kind of like a Billy the Kid Comic-Con a little bit, as far as, studying the history. I mean, it's not like Comic-Con where they in costumes, but my question was, or is it? I mean, do you get some folks that show up and they're like, dressing up in like Old West attire and stuff to get kind of into the spirit of the film festival or anything like that?
Well, it would be nice if it grew into that. This one, it just kind of showed up. I was there, I think, from 2:00 on Saturday. I sat in on a little panel, and they had a lot of other cool experts there. I wanted to mention I got to meet Roy Young and Kurt House.
Okay.
And they just wrote a brand new Billy book. And the reason I'm bringing them up is they're going to be at the Roswell Public Library sometime Thursday, late afternoon or evening.
Okay, this Thursday.
Yeah, so since I don't know the time, I mean, just call the library and ask them when's the Billy the Kid talk. And it's just, like I said, sometime Thursday, late afternoon.
Okay, usually around 4, so...
Yeah, or
probably...
it might have been in the evening. I'm not a very good listener. That's all that I retain. But they're great guys, and I wanted to support them.
Absolutely.
Really nice.
Yeah, so if you love that Billy the Kid, that lore, the history... It's so much fun to talk to people that study it their whole lives and get, because they get all the good nuggets of information. Just the little, to me, this is, and I'm sure you probably share this kind of love too. To me, one of the fun parts of history is learning the maybe the not so historical things about people, the quirks, the nuances, the things that kind of make them tick at the end of the day, the things that, and it's always stuff like, Billy used to keep his pocket comb in his left pocket, something, just something along those lines. I mean, that's not true. I'm just making that up. But along those lines, I love that nuance of history. Like for instance, Stonewall Jackson, we all know Thomas, Confederate general, brilliant tactician, but he believed his body was lopsided. It wasn't like he believed his body wasn't symmetrical. Like his parts weren't lined up right. And he used to have bad stomach problem. That's why I always chewed on lemons. But he would sit in the saddle for hours at a time with one of his hands, I'm not sure if it's left or right, just sitting in the air, just waving. And people are like, what the heck is he doing? He's like, he's trying to balance himself again, trying to realign himself. And that's the kind of quirks that he had that, you don't really learn about till you start, digging into the real history and stuff. And so imagine an event like this, you get a lot of that kind of Billy the Kid information and things and talks like this.
Because I'm the complete opposite. I specialize in the untruths. So most of the other guys there, though, they specialize in the truth.
Sure.
So.
You're kind of trying to separate the fact from the lore.
Yeah.
I've had enough of it. It needs to be stated right now. I'm outraged. I'm infuriated.
Oh,
that
right.
all this love and all this attention has been given to a monster like Billy the Kid. He's been idolized in media over a generation, and it's infuriating. I, for one, won't stand for it anymore. Billy the Kid needs to be canceled. Are you guys catching the parallels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure. I was sitting there and I was like, I wonder if anybody's going to cancel Billy the Kid the way we're canceling Dahmer.
I was just trying to go through the Rolodex of Emilio Estevez lines from the movie that I could throw back, and now like none of them really fit the mold. So I just kind of, I was like, you will make you famous now.
But yeah, if we're outraged at Dahmer, we need to be outraged at Billy the Kid. There, I said it.
Ah, very good.
Needs to be said. As you were, gentlemen.
By the way, I finished that series yesterday.
Of course you did, you psychopath.
I am. I'll talk about it later. But Sean's joking aside, but Billy the Kid, it's pretty cool to kind of to hear and see it. And I'm not proud of this, I've never been to the gravesite there in Fort Sumner. It's one of those things I've always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've just never made that trip up there to do it.
Yeah.
So one of these days, I've got to go up there and see all of the, because I know they got quite a bit of stuff for you to check out. I just never have made that trip up.
Yeah, only an hour and a half away, so it's not bad.
Yeah. To be honest, I've just recently started going through all the Fort Stanton stuff after all these years. I've been to Lincoln 100 times and drove past Fort Stanton, and even stopped and looked at the cemetery for all the Merchant Marines there. I just never actually went into the fort till within the last year or so, and I've been kind of, learned a lot of cool stuff back here. Didn't realize it. So anyway, I'm a little off topic here, but that's part of what's great about this New Mexico history and all of this stuff. And of course, the Historical Society, we got a fun event. We want to invite people out here, but it's all in that vein of preserving the history, telling, and now we're just putting a little bit of a Halloween twist on it, kind of telling some of our more unusual tales and things of history, Old West history, things like that. And that's kind of like so that's what this event coming up here in a couple weeks on the 23rd is all about. Is you and Donna kind of telling, not ghost stories per se, but telling just historic tales that kind of have a Halloween vein to them, and things like that. So I'm curious, what's that process where you and Donna kind of go through and decide what tales, what stories will be fit for the event?
I'm sure Donna's probably going to talk a lot about haunted hotels that she did, just kind of some
That's
of the
kind
best
of her
of
wheelhouse,
that.
yeah.
And then she's probably got some new stuff that maybe she'll talk about.
Plus her Wicked Women series, her books there. I imagine there's probably a few tales that would fall into the Halloween genre from some of those characters that she's written about. So,
well, yeah, like for instance, there were these serial killers that lived in Kansas around the same era as Billy the Kid. They were called the Bender family.
Okay.
They were just like a regular nuclear family, mother, father, son, daughter, but they were serial killers. And they think actually that Kate Bender, the girl, moved here to New Mexico under an alias, and she was kind of known as like the Black Widow.
I must say she's been portrayed in stories before,
Probably,
hasn't it? I've seen I've heard that name, Kate Bender, Black Widow.
Yeah,
I feel like in movies or books or something, I've heard that name.
Yeah,
in story, not in nonfiction, but in story form. So I'd be. Was there a Kate Bender in any of the Young Guns movies?
I don't think, probably somebody else, because
Maybe.
She never tangled with Billy the Kid.
Okay,
but
I didn't know if they tried to crowbar it in there or something. I know in some movies, some westerns, that name has come across.
I'm going to do that in one of my books. But
Are you? Yeah, you already got. I'm not going to ask you because you spoil the surprise. But you got plans.
Oh yeah, it's no surprise. Yeah,
but we'd love to invite folks out October 23rd. It's a Sunday from 2 to 3:30 in the afternoon. So it'll be after the early games there. You'll be good to go. But we'd love to invite you out. Donna and John, of course, they're going to be telling some different legend stories that kind of fall in the Halloween theme. I'm kind of curious. In the flyer here, you've advertised two of the stories. The Cursed Mummy of John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
Can you tease any bit of that story or give a little background?
Oh yeah,
on
I'll just summarize it.
Yeah.
Basically, so John Wilkes Booth is just like Billy the Kid in that men surfaced claiming to be him after his death.
Yeah, his death, though, was in a public forum because a lot of people didn't see a body per se. The legend that John Wilkes Booth was still alive years after his reported death is pretty almost as widespread as Billy the Kid.
Yeah. So his claimant, his name was David E. George. He committed suicide in Oklahoma in about early 1900s.
Okay.
And he did it with arsenic. And so basically what happened is when the embalmer embalmed the body, when it combined with the arsenic he had used to poison himself, it mummified him more so than it would a normal person.
So it was it almost like pickled him in essence. Like you would if you're taking cucumbers in a brine or something. Okay.
Yeah, and so he had confessed to being John Wilkes Booth right before he died. And you have to wonder, why would you do that? Except for maybe back in early 1900s, there might still be some Confederate sympathizers that would take pride in that.
Absolutely.
Perhaps.
Shoot, it's 2022 and there's still a few floating around. I mean, it's just, you know.
Now, he kind of acted like he was ashamed of it, like he was confessing to a crime. So who knows? But
I'm guessing the fact that, you know, he was dabbling with arsenic and things, there's probably some mental health problems there.
That's true.
From the get-go. Yeah. And this might just be an extension of that a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's because for folks that, you know, when we hear, but this is it, that's the tales, because John Wilkes Booth, for those who don't know, he's the assassinator of President Abraham Lincoln. His ending came to be when federal troops tracked him into Virginia, and he was staying at a farm there in Virginia. Someone had let him stay in the barn out there for a day or two, and they caught wind that he was there, and him and I think it was Atzerodt. I don't remember which one, but one of the co-conspirators was there with him. And I believe Atzerodt came out. He came out, surrendered. Booth did not. And so they surrounded him in the barn, and then they lit the barn on fire to try to chase him out. He wouldn't come out. And then one of the cavalry soldiers, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but according to his stories and things, he was deeply religious, and I'm talking to the point where he mutilated himself. He castrated himself. That's how, almost to the point of fanaticism. And he claimed, and there's witnesses to prove that he actually saw Booth through the cracks in the barn, stuck his pistol through the barn door, the slats in the barn, and popped a cap in him and killed him. And said he's the one that killed him. And then, of course, they dragged the body out and everything and all that. But that part of the story kind of gets lost because it doesn't meet the urban legend side of they didn't really get him. And so then you see things like he turns up in something years later and or like you said, a guy in Colorado or wherever that was makes a claim that, you know, he was just kind of like Bushy Roberts and Billy the Kid. And by the way, sorry, Texans, I've seen enough documentaries on Bushy Bill Roberts, and there's a lot of similarities, but when you break down the bone structure, the things that really matter, none of it lines up. And that's probably the most truest thing that at this point in history we can tell to determine that's probably not Billy the Kid, but Bushy Bill Robert folks there. Just I don't want to pee on your parade there, but that's kind of been debunked. But so this is that story of that guy. And then this one's got a little bit more local flair, I think. The Navajo Witch Purge of 1878. Again, I don't want to hear the whole story, but just kind of set that story up on the background there a little bit.
Yeah, so, you know, they have I don't know if it's a myth, but just the idea of basically the Native American equivalent to werewolves. They call them skinwalkers. Okay. And the idea is it's like a medicine man gone evil who drapes his skin with like it drapes his flesh with like a predatory animal skin.
Okay, kind of like Indians hunting. They would, you know, when they would go hunting, they wear the skins and stuff as camouflage.
That's right. And see, it was a taboo thing to ever wear the skin of a predatory animal, like a mountain lion or a wolf.
Okay.
So they didn't do that because they would think that you were a skinwalker.
Okay, that was kind of, I guess, sacrilegious. I guess would probably be the term. Interesting. So these were considered evil people because they broke the sacrilege of wearing the skins.
Yeah, and supposedly they would transform into the animal just like a werewolf.
Okay, that's where the legend meets reality here. Interesting. But the thing is, it might be just some serious mental health people that had some issues. And I'm very curious. Have you heard? I know History Channel has it, and I'd never put two and two together till just this moment. So I'm curious if it is 2 and 2. They have I'm sure you've heard of it. They've got a documentary show called like Legends at the Skinwalker Ranch and all. Is that the same when they talk of that that's the same stories we speak of, these skinwalkers? Is that different?
It's that and more. Okay. So it's really, when you get down to it, that ranch is more known for UFO activity, but it's on a Ute Native American like old reservation land or something, or tribal lands that was supposedly cursed. And they see a few skinwalkers there, supposedly, but it's more UFOs.
So that's more of a melding of the two. Yeah. It's like, come for the skinwalkers, stay for the extraterrestrial kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. It's just like a bag of creepy. Oh, yeah. I got it. Okay. Now I get it. Because, I'm I don't know, everyone has different beliefs and everything, but, when it comes to spirits and spirit world and stuff, I do believe that when tragic events and tragic things happen at a certain spot, I think it does hold an energy and hold something that we can't explain or understand yet. And whether that's ghosts or some kind of energy imprint, I don't know, but there's something there we just don't understand. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, so these are just some of the stories. Of course, you guys will be hanging out afterwards, and if you want to get a copy of any of their books or have a book signing, or if you want to sit and chat with Donna or John about any of their stories and their books, because let's face it, between John and Donna, what do you got? 30, 40 books between the two of you?
Yeah.
Probably out for folks to check out.
I'll have some new ones there, because I've got one called Cowboys and Monsters, which is all collections of any newspaper articles that dealt with werewolves, mummies, or vampires in the Old West.
It's a great one because it's kind of, it's almost seeing paranormal history as it's being observed. And that's what I love about, because we've had this conversation before, like UFO sightings, aliens. We have a much better vocabulary of that kind of stuff today. So when we see something, we use those terms. But in 1842, if they come across a kind of anomaly, they don't have the vocabulary we do to describe or understand that. So their stories probably sound more mythical, like it's some kind of beast or devil or something. Where we're like, no, it's something from out of this world, but it's probably all the same stuff. You know what I mean? Is what it is. We yet to learn all that. So to me, that's it. Almost these tales and these things that you talk of are as much important to the history, because it's historicalizing the unexplained, and where it was chalked up as witchcraft or sorcery or whatever back then, we now know maybe it was something different. And so that's what I love about that kind of stuff. So that's a good book for you to pick up. I definitely talked to John, pick that copy up. If you can't wait till the 23rd, you can probably get it online at the Historical Society's website right now.
I don't think I gave them any copies to sell, so I think that one would be like an Amazon one. But the day of, I'll do some sort of share with the society or something. Yeah,
good deal. But and of course, John goes into everywhere. So if you like, obviously the Billy the Kid and stuff, he's got a whole series of those books. He does get into some of, like you said, the cowboys and aliens type thing, but also into like Godzilla and stuff. That's not Historical Society per se, but it's also written and done the same way you would also do a Billy the Kid book. You know what I mean?
Nonfiction.
Yes, it's not saying, here's the thing about Godzilla, here's a bunch of cool pictures of Godzilla. Isn't Godzilla cool? No, it's the evolution of Godzilla, what Godzilla is here versus what it is in Japan, and those kinds of the lineage, the history, the how did it come to be that we all know about a big green lizard that stomps Tokyo. Why do we know about that? Why is it so part of the lexicon even today? And that's what I love about your books and things like that.
Thank you.
And then, by the way, we gotta talk up Donna's books too, because where John goes in the world with this kind of stuff, Donna, like the Wicked Women and these ghost stories and things, she loves to go on these adventures and see these places.
So I was about to say, Donna actually leaves the house to write her books. But this is the other funny thing. So I went up to Las Vegas, like I said. I went with Jason Garcia.
Yeah.
And just by sheer coincidence, we were looking at Donna's Instagram, and she was in Mora, New Mexico on Saturday. And so we hit her up, and we're like, hey, we're in Vegas. And so she came over Sunday morning, and we spent the day together hanging out, and we got to see some cool stuff. We went to Montezuma Castle in Las Vegas. I don't know how many listeners...
I am not familiar with that. No, I am not.
It's the strangest thing you can imagine, because it's this big world college school that even King Charles is involved with.
Okay.
And it's like, why would King Charles be involved?
So it's got an international footprint or imprint. Yeah.
It's like, why would King Charles be involved with a school in Las Vegas, New Mexico?
There's a lot of questions
really
there.
Cool. So we got to drive by it and check it out. It looks like an English castle in the hills of New Mexico. It's really
interesting.
Odd.
You always wonder if it's just like these dignitaries, these people of importance or wealth.
Yeah.
They come here on a vacation or some kind of trip, and they fall in love, because let's face it, the land of New Mexico is very unique compared to the rest of the world. We live it every day, so we kind of take it for granted. But not a lot of people have majestic mountains trips and just you can see for miles and just beauty, openness, and it's remote and desolate, but it's quite beautiful to see.
Yeah.
And so when you live in England or you're anywhere in Europe where everybody's on top of everybody or it's raining or whatever, and then they come out here and it's like, wait a minute, you can literally sit by yourself and see for hundreds of miles and not see another human being. And that's, so it leaves an imprint on people.
Yeah, and its history you can tie into Billy the Kid too, because some people might be like, why Las Vegas for a Billy the Kid film festival? Well, Billy would go to Las Vegas to gamble. Supposedly he met Jesse James there, which is cool.
So it was kind of a party town for cowboys back in
and
the
the
day.
spot where Billy gambled is basically where the Montezuma Castle is today, because it used to be a hotel. It's got an interesting history in that they sometimes call it the Phoenix, because that hotel, it always looks basically the same. It always looks like a castle, but it's burned down and been rebuilt about 3 times now.
Oh, really?
Which is weird. But yeah, so it just started out as a huge hotel, gambling resort, and then it was abandoned. And then once it was abandoned, it was acquired by the Arm & Hammer World College, and that's how King Charles got involved.
Okay. So today, is it a museum or is it
No, it's a functioning school. Like
now,
these
okay.
kids go there. It's like you're a senior in high school and it's like a senior/freshman college combo, and it's kids from all over the world. I think about 200 of them
Interesting.
every year.
I've not heard any of that. That's amazing. And that's literally in our own backyard.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Again, this is why I like historical side in these events. You learn so much about your own community, and you learn why it's the way it is and what it is. And we're going to have fun, tell ghost stories, that kind of stuff. But really, it's just more of that. It's more of learning where you grew up in, learning where you live in, and learning the good, the bad, and the ugly. All of it. The history's history. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's our job to study it, understand it, and learn from it.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those events that's just so great about that, because, and what I'm hoping is it gives you, now you hear Donna talking all these stories and places that she's been and seen. I hope it lights a little fire and says, you played. I mean, you don't have to go to Donna's level and start, hitting every ghost town and everything, but it gives you an idea to say, I need to plan a trip. I need to go, hey, let's start with Lincoln. We'll go to Lincoln this weekend and check Lincoln out. Or, hey, we're going to go and I don't know, just go west and go check out some of the stuff in the western half of the state. Whatever, just pick something, There's just so much there. So, but start by coming out to the 23rd.
Yeah.
And of course, now it's just hearing stories, and then, of course, book signing and book purchasing afterwards and talking. No big scavenger hunts or anything.
No.
It's just come and hear some strange history tales and things like that. Which, if you love hearing these stories and love hearing about it, please come out. Are you guys charging anything, or just...
No, I think the society will just benefit from the book sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you'd like to make a donation to the Historical Society, though, there will be people there to do that. But you're not obligated or required. To be honest, if you really want to help, come and buy something afterwards. Come and get your appetite wet for something we're talking about, and then do your own kind of next level exploratory on that and buy a book or do something. We'd love that. Would be very helpful to us. Not even so much for the whatever amount of money you spend on the book, but the fact that you are living, breathing, and participating in the history of this area. So that to me is just as important. So, by the way, go to roswellnmhistory.org. That is the Historical Society's website. It is a great resource, not only to learn more about this event and all of our other events, but buying books. I know the holiday season's not far away. Peter Hurt prints, things like that make great gifts. We've got gift options for you when you start thinking about holiday shopping here pretty soon. And then, of course, if you need a meeting space, our archives facility, the facility that you'll be at here on the 23rd, that's available for, it seats comfortably about 75 people. It's got a kitchen, got everything else. So if you need that for a meeting space or a small party or event like that, think of the Historical Society. That's all ways to help support and enjoy the Historical Society too. So, is there anything we missed? What about you and your books? What are you working on right now? Problem is do you take breaks between books, or you just literally crank one out and then there's another one? I mean,
I might take a break for a day, you know what I mean? Something like that, but yeah.
I mean, it's like, what about your new book? That was 2 new books ago. I got another one here. You're like, man, it came out fast. So what are you working on right now?
I started a little tiny, you'd call it a digest magazine, because we think of magazines as big, but you know how National Geographic was kind of smaller? Yeah. So I started a little digest magazine called Strange West.
Okay.
Which is just more strange Western tales.
But more in like a short story form?
Yeah, or shorter articles that just maybe, and they sometimes escape the scope of the books I'm working on. So they didn't fit, but I wanted to write about them.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So it's scratching an itch for you, but also giving people a chance of getting like a history hodgepodge.
Yeah, like for instance, I found this cool story about the son of Albert Fountain finding gold along with the bones of a giant sloth in this cave in White Sands.
Wow.
Which doesn't fit my dinosaur books because the giant sloth was dead, but it's a cool story. You know, he found prehistoric animal bones and gold in a cave. Yeah,
it is pretty cool. Yeah. So, again, this is part of that beauty of what this state is. It's because we're not the East Coast and there's civilizations after civilizations that have been kind of living on those grounds. I mean, we don't have that, you know, we've got, our history is much older, but much more sparse, if that makes sense. And so for you to find relics of something from thousands of years ago, you're going to have a much greater chance of finding it here than you would, say, in Virginia or Maryland. Or, I mean, don't get me wrong, they do archaeological digs, but it's not, that's more about ancient civilization. You start learning about Jamestown people, things like that. Here you're learning about dinosaurs or native tribes that have been here for thousands of years and things like that. So it's kind of different. Excuse me. Again, RoswellNMhistory.org is the website. Come on by the Historical Society. They're on Lee Street. 200 North Lee, I believe, is the actual address for the museum. It's right next door.
Same parking lot, you know, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so come and be a part. And of course, don't forget, if you'd like to do a tour or something like that, reach out. We still offer private tours. We don't have it open set hours right now. It's you call us, say, hey, I got family in town. Can we schedule a tour? We'll be happy to make those arrangements, get that done for you. All we ask is a little donation just to, you know, cover costs, and whatever you feel is worthy of that, we'd be very thankful for. So, and another great way. But come on out again. October 23rd, Sunday, 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the Historical Society's Archives facility, which is there on Lee, right next door to the house. And come out for John LeMay and Donna Blake Burchell as they share spooky Southwest history stories, ones that you may have heard part of but didn't hear the whole story, or people you may have heard of but didn't know this about them, things like that. So come check it out, and then stick around for a book signing and a meet and greet with John and Donna afterwards. So, and then come with your own tales. If you've got stories of New Mexico and you don't think maybe John or Donna have heard, tell them, share them. You might just spark an idea for one of their next books or something like that. So, you know, because that's how you guys gather history just as much, especially for here. It's I knew so and so here who grew up here, and this is the story, and then that kind of gives you your leads, and then you do your digging from there to kind of put fact to your story, and that's how they do this. So bring it. Is there anything I missed, John? Anything?
No, I'll just remind anybody that came in on the tail end of this again about the Roswell Public Library talk Thursday for Roy Young and Kurt House on their new Billy the Kid book.
Excellent. And they'll be there Thursday afternoon. Call the Roswell Public Library for any kind of more information details. They're always free talks at the library, so I know they're not going to charge, but usually they do them in the Bondurant room, and then the Friends of the Library are kind enough to provide some light refreshments for folks. And then they come and enjoy a great talk here. So, and this one's all about B to the K.
B to the K. Okay,
Billy Kid. So, very good. Well, thank you, John.
Thank you, Mike.
As always, appreciate the visit. We'll see you here next time. And And take a break once in a while. Go in between writings. Go on a trip with Donna so you can smell some roses. Yeah. Thanks, John. Appreciate you. It is 9:52. We're going to pause.
Sanctions imposed over its invasion of Ukraine. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Celebrate a century of tradition at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair, October 3rd through the 8th at the fairgrounds in Roswell. Come experience it all. The 4-H and FFA Pavilion, the Arts and Crafts and Commercial Building, the livestock shows and sale, the amazing food, Wright's Carnival, and of course, the amazing entertainment, including the NASCAR experience, Dan the Farmer Man, and music each night with headliner Colby Cooper Friday night at 6 p.m.
Don't act like it's breaking news.
And Saturday, it's Cumbia Night featuring Mickey Cruz and Grupo Maldad. And of course, the Ranch Rodeo Friday and Saturday night. Best of all, parking and all the concerts and the rodeo are free with your admission to the fair. Admission is only $12 for adults, $8 for kids and seniors, and kids 2 and under are free. Get more info at enmsf.com. The Eastern New Mexico State Fair, celebrating 100 years, October 3rd through the 8th. Ad paid for through the City of Roswell Lodgers
If you're
Tax.
missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Representative Greg Nybert has always and continues to believe in less government interference in our lives, Second Amendment rights, strong and consistent enforcement of the law, no leniency for criminals, right to life, and government spending within its means. Greg Nybert has represented House District 59 fairly and consistently. Please vote for Greg Nybert, District 59.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Representative, Richard Taylor, Treasurer.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
From the nation's emergency oil stockpile.
The strategic petroleum oil reserves are at a 40-year low due to the Biden administration's efforts to shrink gas prices ahead of the midterm elections. Now, the president says he will release even more barrels, 10 million this month, as OPEC announces it will make its biggest cut in production in more than 2 years. Earlier this week, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said there were no plans to continue releases from the strategic reserve after a 6-month release of 1 million barrels a day. The president has released 160 million barrels of crude since March. Tasha Stevens reporting.
And the U.S. Oil and Gas Association says there's only one option left for the administration, and that is the U.S.-based oil and gas industry. It's an option that the trade group says the Biden team should never have rejected in the first place. It's the sound of progress in Florida. Heavy equipment being deployed to clear the mountains of debris left by Hurricane Ian. Governor Ron DeSantis says power and water are being restored, but it will take time, especially in the hardest hit areas.
Concrete utility poles snapped in half. I saw a lot of places where the lines were totally down.
The governor's remarks aired by WZVN TV. More Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week. Applications rose 29,000, hitting 219,000. And the government will release the September employment report tomorrow. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is down 110 points, the Nasdaq off 6 points, and the S&P trading 10 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3388 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3388. Enjoy.
The sprawling Xinjiang region is the latest area of China to be hit with sweeping COVID travel restrictions.
Trains and buses in and out of the region of 22 million people have been suspended as China further tightens control measures. Likewise, passenger numbers on flights have been reduced to 75% capacity. A notice from the regional government said the measures were enacted to strictly prevent the risk of spillover of the virus, but gave no other details. The new restrictions come ahead of a key Communist Party Congress later this month. I'm Karen Chamas.
Every gesture counts, the watchword of a French government energy-saving drive aimed at getting the country through the winter without gas from Russia and closer to European Union targets of reaching climate neutrality by the year 2050. The French drive for so-called energy sobriety dovetails with other energy-saving efforts taking root all across Europe. Townhall.com. California water agencies that rely on the parched Colorado River say they're willing to cut their use by about 1/10.
The four agencies laid out their proposal in a Wednesday letter to the U.S. Department of the Interior. It marks the first time the agencies are publicly saying what they'd be willing to give up since the federal government called for reductions this summer. Drought is diminishing the river, which provides about 1/3 of Southern California's urban water and is the only source of water for farms in the Imperial Valley. California is legally entitled to more water than any other state and is the last to lose it in times of shortage. Keith Peters reporting.
In Thailand, a former police officer killed at least 24 youngsters and 11 adults in a gun and knife attack. It began in a child care center. Police say the attacker fled the first scene, shooting from his car as he drove home before killing his wife and child and then taking his own life. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah!
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes.
Hope your Thursday's going well.
Welcome to it.
It's, I'll never complain. We need the rain. Love this rain. Mm-hmm. And we could just schedule it to not mess up things out at the fair.
It feels like it happens every single week. You would think that we would just schedule it for the last week in September rather than the first week in October.
Well, it'll rain then, too. It's
no,
just,
but
it'll move.
Remember last week we were talking about how boring the weather was?
I know.
This time last week, another boring day of weather.
Maybe they're punishing us for my statements. What's that, Roy? I didn't hear you.
It's almost like they know.
Right?
Yeah, they hang out. No,
they know when it's going to rain.
Fair gods are like, hold, unleash fury.
But thankful for the moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it doesn't interrupt any festivities for the next several days.
To coin one that I feel like Mike would appreciate more, the hold for the rain and fire.
I was actually at the fair.
Actually?
Last night.
Amazing.
You didn't see me?
I must have missed you now.
How did you not see Roy?
Were you out there as a patron or were you out there as working?
I think you were facing my direction when you were talking in the microphone, and I was like doing the peace sign at you.
Oh, no.
I thought
Why
you
did
did
you
it back
remember
at
that,
me.
Sean?
Because I wasn't paying any attention.
I don't know. I couldn't actually see inside the trailer.
Here's
It's so much magic
fact.
going on in there.
Were you on the side with the window that's like covered up, or the side that
It was
is
the front
exposed?
side, facing the front of the fair.
No, I can't. I mean, you couldn't. I wasn't facing you when I was. If I'm speaking on a microphone, I'm usually facing Hobson Hall.
There you
Okay.
go. That's where the table or the desk portion of
Yep.
the
It looked like you were facing
trailer is.
So you were just waving at nothing.
That's the boomer
Yeah.
out there, right?
I was just like,
Yeah, it's the boomer out there.
Yeah, the smaller interior.
Yeah, the much smaller interior, although the much larger exterior.
Yes.
That thing, the other one looks like a tiny radio. That inside of that is a palace.
Yeah, it's like a whole.
You could have there's a dance floor in there.
Yeah.
Right? Concierge. Hey,
I didn't know they built a road.
I don't want to move my head.
Yeah, they. Matter of fact, I saw on one of our Facebook posts that people senior day out the fair, and people are commenting on the paths they built out there in the off season and how nice and convenient they are. So
It makes it so much easier to walk.
I've
around.
heard nothing but rave reviews about those.
Yeah, they've
So
really done a good job out there at the fairgrounds.
they are
stepping it up a notch.
Yep, and I'm sure more plans for future fairs as well.
Also, the fact that they just opened the, not the commercial building, but the educational building. They opened the gate that is connecting to the carnival part.
Oh,
just the
okay.
fact that they opened that makes everything so much easier. Because now you can just enter and exit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't
know what you're
don't
talking
remember
about.
that
I think I
being
know what you're
open
talking
before.
about. Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I think I know what you're talking about.
See, of all the time I've spent out there, and trust me, it's been a lot. I haven't actually explored much beyond like the ice cream shop, the taco stand,
and to pull back the curtain, I generally don't walk through the ride portion of the fair.
No, but I like the commercial building. I gotta go.
I go with the education. But generally, the one area I don't meander is in the ride portion because it's not my thing. So I don't even walk through there. I just kind of like, I'll be over here by the things that smell good.
I do like to walk through the ride area just to see what's new.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity. I mean, I'm not a writer myself, but I'm a fan of the idea.
And I'm not going to lie. I do it to avoid myself playing all the games because I know that I'm going to be like, I'm going to pop a balloon and win a.
Because you're a mark.
Picture of Bon Jovi. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a mirrored picture of Def Leppard.
A picture of Mickey Rooney.
For some reason, a Minnie Mouse ashtray.
I had quite the collection of those from fairs past when I was a teenager.
Dude, I remember the fair right after 9/11.
Yeah.
The big one was you go and you pop the balloons or whatever with the arrow or with the darts, and all of the pictures like that you could win were like some depiction of Osama bin Laden taking a missile in some capacity.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about the fairs I remember when I was a younger lad.
It was a real freedom-centric state fair. It was weird. It was a lot of those, and then also a lot of reggae flags and you know, like Bob Marley flags and stuff like that. So it was a very odd juxtaposition.
And then you try to win a big bear or something for a girl, and then you have to stuck carrying that thing around the whole time. Yeah.
I figured out the move. Here's the move. Okay, you're going to take your date to the fair. Okay, when you pick her up, before you pick her up, run out to the Walmart. Okay, no, check this out.
All right,
I'm telling you, girls love Squishmallows. Okay, I know this because I've got a 9-year-old. Okay?
I don't know what a Squishmallow is.
Yeah, but you're also married, so you shouldn't. Squishmallow are these new like plush things that like they're like super super soft. My daughter loves them, as do most young ladies. So what you do, pick up a nice little Squishmallow, like try to figure out what kind of animal you think she'd like.
Okay.
Give that to her and say you can carry this around the fair, so that everybody can see it and think that I spent all night playing some stupid game to win that stupid toy for you. But here, I got it for you. It's $150 in the fair. I got it for you right here. Bing.
All right. Squishmallow.
Squishmallow, yeah. Ask for it by name.
Is it a stuffed animal? Or is it
it's literally just like a plush toy.
Is it filled with gel or something?
No, it's just like fluff, but it's the way that they make it. They're really soft.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
It's like the, what's
chicks dig them, dude. That's all I can tell you. The chicks dig them.
Bowl and branch of stuffed animals.
Kinda, yeah. They're like the next big thing.
All right, okay. Well, you do you.
Don't you have a little sister around like a young lady's age?
I do.
Who's like 13, 14?
Yeah, I think
get her a Squishmallow for Christmas. She'll love you.
I think she's past that.
Just get her a huge one, like a big one. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, big Squishmallow. You'll be like,
I don't know,
Big Brother the hero.
She's smarter than me. I don't think she'd be into that. I don't know. Oh man, but who knows? I'll keep it for myself. If it's soft as what you speak, I might just keep it myself.
I'm just saying. I haven't been married for a few years. I need something to snuggle with. So sometimes I borrow Rhiannon's. There, I said it.
Hey, you do you.
It's a manatee. It's fine. It's adorable. It's
How big do these things get?
Oh, you can get them body size.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they come in a lot of different sizes.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones I'm talking about are like $24 to $33.
What do they call you? Squishy Mellow?
Squishmallows.
Squishmallow. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ask for them by name.
All right, I'll check it out.
As well, you should.
I feel like it's from the makers of Cheese Whiz comes Squishmallow.
It's basically somebody who's like, hey, we figured out how to make a plush toy softer. You know what? Let's put all of our marketing money behind this and figure out how to license it to 16 different intellectual properties.
Next time you try s'mores, forget the marshmallow, get the Squishmallow.
13 people were burned horribly in it. Terrible fun.
It's a
involving
weird
a Squishmallow.
All right. Here, let me give you the rundown. Mm-hmm. Here in just a few minutes, we'll get you up to date with the weather. Then after that, we're going to have joining us from Heirloom Acres, Allison and Stuart Joy. Of course, they're now open. Matter of fact, you're going to be out there Saturday.
Saturday, yep.
They're going to have a big fun. They do every weekend now with the Halloween season upon us here. But yeah, they're going to be out and about doing their thing.
Have you seen their maze?
I have not been to Heirloom Acres before. It's
insane. It's absolutely insane. It's 10 acres. It's gigantic and it's so intricate. Mm-hmm. It's like I've seen the overhead shot. You can actually, I think, see it on their Facebook. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. A lot of time and effort went into this corn maze.
Well, I'm going to ask because
absolutely should.
I love all those.
You can pull it up and check it out. It's
questions.
It's phenomenal.
I love how those all happen.
Full disclosure, I didn't know this until I think maybe today. They put their name in there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
You got to find it.
Yeah. You got to find that quadrant.
If you make it out.
Yeah.
That's just it. You could get lost and live there.
In case you find yourself in Joy Junction.
That might be a good place to camp out, in that area.
Day 34, just a little tiny campfire.
That's right.
I find myself lost in corn again. Turns out this isn't the corn for humans.
That's right. Wrong season. These taste like garbage.
I ate 2 of the passersby.
What I thought was corn turned out to be some And then he starts looking more and more like Tom Hanks from Castaway.
Yeah, so eventually he starts talking to an ear of corn with just like a bloody handprint on it.
Right. Did you hear that, Bob? Keep doing
Cornelius!
You're full of ears and you haven't heard anything I said.
Oh, you're all ears? You're all ears, are you? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and I'm the crazy one. I'm in here talking to corn.
And then the funny part would be they're there for like 2 months, and finally the heirloom makers people are like, dude, the entrance is right there.
It's right here.
You could have left like days
so
ago.
Close. Well, I'm one with the corn now.
That's right. I live here.
I am amongst them.
Put me among a stick. I'm now a crow.
They're my people.
I'm a scarecrow. Put me on a stick.
Slink back into the maze.
All right. It is. So we're going to have that interview, and then, of course, we'll do news and all of that. Before we do anything else, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Cool temperatures and some showers around through the upcoming weekend with low pressure over southern New Mexico and some moist air coming in. Cloudy today, low 70s and a few showers and thunderstorms around. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and mid-50s, and then Friday looks about the same. A mix of sunshine and clouds through about midday and then a few afternoon thunderstorms, upper 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 61 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 87%. Winds currently out of the north at 7 miles per hour. We do have a 40% chance for rain showers this afternoon. Cloudy with a high of 74 today. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain still at 40% for tonight. They say could see a little patchy fog after midnight tonight as well. But otherwise, mostly cloudy. Overnight low of 57 with east winds at around 5 miles per hour. 30% chance of rain for Friday. Pretty much all day. Slight chance in the morning, but also for the afternoon. Could see a little patchy fog when you wake up tomorrow morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. 76 for a high with north winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday night, we're looking at a 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, with an overnight low of 57, east winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for your weekend, 40% chance of rain Saturday for the afternoon, mostly cloudy, highs right around 70 with southeast winds 5 to 15. 60% chance of rain on Sunday, mostly cloudy, highs near 71. All right, it is 9:18. We're going to take a 3-minute commercial break, and then we'll talk with Stuart Nelson from Heirloom Acres on the other side. Don't go away.
The VA reports 149,756 military veterans living here in New Mexico. What doesn't get reported much are steps to improve their quality of life and honor their service. Did you know that major improvements are coming to our only long-term skilled nursing home for New Mexico veterans? Back in July, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced $60 million for upgrades and new home-like residences at the state's Veterans Home in Tier C. And she cut New Mexico's income tax on military retirement for the next 5 years. She's invested millions of dollars towards veteran cemeteries, a new Vietnam memorial wall, and towards the construction of a new Navajo Code Talkers Museum and Veterans Center in New Mexico. And she approved major upgrades to the Baton Memorial Park near Silver City this year, too. As the daughter of a military veteran, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is a champion of New Mexico vets they can count on. Let's keep her.
Paid for by New Mexicans for Michelle.
Approved by Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Amigo Machinery, your local Kubota dealer for Southeast New Mexico, congratulates the Eastern New Mexico State Fair on 100 years. Come out to all the shows, enjoy the entertainment, the music, the food, and the rides as the Eastern New Mexico State Fair celebrates 100 years, October 3rd through the 8th. And Amigo Machinery invites you to tune in to KSVPTV.com for all the junior livestock events. Come celebrate 100 years of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Amigo Machinery, your local Kubota dealer, a proud sponsor of the Eastern New Mexico State Fair.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that
Life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
If you suffer from pogonophobia, you would not want to attend a party with the following people: Kenny Rogers, Santa Claus, Willie Nelson, the cast of Duck Dynasty, and 2/3 of ZZ Top. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Heirloom Acres, we have Allison and Stuart Joy with us. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good morning. We're good.
Thanks for spending some time with us. I know you guys are probably pretty busy right now, getting a whole farm ready for the pumpkins growing season and Halloween and all that. This is kind of your very popular time of the year for Heirloom Acres. So I'm guessing you guys have been pretty busy lately, huh?
Yeah, all the work throughout the year comes to a head right about now.
Yeah,
and getting everybody out and to enjoy it. But this is what makes it all that work worth it.
Well, I think, and to me, this is like as a kid growing up in things, I always, don't get me wrong, I love a big bag full of candy as much as the next kid, but my favorite trips were always the trips I grew up in the East Coast, so we used to go to a place called Hard Bargain Farm, and it was kind of the same concept where you get to ride in the hay ride out to the pumpkin patch and do all the fall fun Halloween type events out at the farm. And to me, that was way more fun than than going trick or treating. So
oh no, I'm with you. I hate to dress up.
So to me, this is like the bigger deal. I'm like, 31st is great, get candy, but I want to go, on those weekends and go out to the pumpkin patch and go, participate in corn mazes and have fun like that. That's the kind of stuff.
Well, I'm glad we've kind of turned it into a season too, because for me, it's always been a favorite time of year for me because I grew up on a farm and this is the time of year we harvest.
Okay.
And so it's
like a break from all the work.
Well, I mean, you still have work, but you get to see the fruition of your work.
Yeah.
It's like, we made it. We're getting the cotton in. We're finishing up, and we're about to get to the holidays where we do get a break. But it's kind of cool that these fall festival type deals have, become more popular.
Sure.
But it's a great opportunity for people to come onto the farm and experience what things like I grew up with.
Sure, absolutely. A little bit. Well, I say quieter life, not less busier life, but quieter life for sure. You know?
And
that's one of our goals in it, is to just get back to a little bit of a simpler time, because I didn't grow up on a farm, and so this is all new for me.
So you're kind of learning as you go a little bit here.
Yes,
okay.
But it's nice, and there's just something about being outside and seeing crops and watching them grow from seed to their final stages.
And that's the beauty of farming and ranching, is it's one of those things that you see the what I mean? It's like, if you're one of those people that you're like, I want to see results from the work I'm doing, farming and ranching is like, it's every day you're seeing that, from the planting time to the time where you start seeing things sprout, into even if you're doing the livestock side of things, seeing those animals at first and raising them up and, seeing them grow and, become to, maturity. I mean, it's just everything you do out there, you're seeing, and you're like, okay, I'm doing that right. Look, ooh, that one's not doing so well.
You can see it pretty quick.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I can appreciate that in something in a world where everything's so technical and you're like, all right, okay, I think I did it right on the email, but what, what I mean? And you're like, I don't know if I did, and I think. And there's something to be said about that when you're at the end of the day, you take, and really that's farm and ranch life, whether it's the work of the raising crops and anything, or just hey, the fence is broke. We got to go fix the fence. Hey, here's the fence. Now, look, now I see I got a nice, great, shiny fence here instead of, the decrepit thing that was there before. And, it's just, it's something about your own self-worth that kind of feels more enhanced when you're able to see your fruits of your labor firsthand. So,
well, and it's like what a lot of the FFA and 4-H kids are experiencing right now at the Eastern Fair. That's what you're working towards, and I love that we have things like fairs and then these and what we've created with Heirloom Makers, where we get to share that with the public, and they get to come out and experience that all that hard work. And
absolutely,
it's just. It's a lot of fun because, like the other day, I was out there. I was just mowing the grass, and the sunflowers we planted a sunflower field. They're starting to open up, and that's the best part. I mean, I don't know how many people. Unfortunately, I got the timing off just a little bit. So the first weekend, which is this past weekend, we're open. People were like, "What's that field?" Like they don't know they're sunflowers. You can't tell what they are until that head opens up.
And then you're like, everyone's like, "Oh, okay, now I get it."
Now they pop, and it's but it's exciting to see that because it's like, okay, that's.
It makes it all worthwhile. It makes the rest of the year worthwhile.
Sure. So I'm curious, because obviously, and we'll talk all about like the fun things people can do out there. But during the year, what's your main crops and things? I mean, is it all strictly towards the pumpkin patch stuff now, or do you guys still do a lot of like the cotton and stuff to put food on the table, so to speak here?
Yeah, my mom and dad still farm, and so and I assist them with that. And so on that side of things was totally a separate business. We do cotton and alfalfa hay, which is pretty typical in this valley. So we're about done with the last cutting of hay. We'll be doing that pretty soon, and then cotton's going to be ready to pick pretty soon, which is pretty cool. When you come out to Heirloom Acres, you see everything that we grow right there in that one little area. So we got the corn, maize, which we don't. The corn is grown in this valley for silage and whatnot, but we just do it for the maize.
Yeah,
we got pumpkins, we have sunflowers, we have a cotton field right there as well, and it's opening up, which is gorgeous to me. Solid white in just about a week or two.
Sure.
And then also we have an alfalfa field right there too. So it's great for field trips because we show them everything all in one little area.
I'm glad that now that we're living in a world where kids can go to school normally and do all that. Glad I'm sure that part of it's just as cool as that are back in school. But like you said, those trips in the fall where they one day they get to come out to the farm and ride the hayride and learn where their food came from a little bit.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
That. Yeah, it's so great, and I'm glad we're able to do that again. I would imagine. Like, do you ever get photographers? Because, like you said, when you get like these sunflower fields and when they're blooming in the right time, I imagine you get a lot of photographers, people, art types that are saying, "Hey, we have permission to come and do some photo shoots out there or do something like that?"
Yeah, we do have that option available on Thursday evenings in October. Photographers can book a session and then bring their clients out.
Perfect!
And it's kind of a private session, so they can go wherever they want and get their pictures. So.
Nice. So if you want to get kind of that nice farm nature,
it's
look with family photos or wedding photos, or a lot of people have a lot of different.
And we're even having a photography class from one of the schools come out. They wanted to do that, bring a class of students out, and we're getting a little bit more and more interest in that. So
you know what should be the rule is like that's great, but you got to give us a copy of like this, because I imagine that would be great for your own personal scrapbooks and libraries and things. When you look at the history of the farm and things, it's like look at these beautiful photos from fields over the years out at Heirloom Acres.
It is. It's so neat too because people share their special moments with us when they do that, coming out for senior pictures or engagement pictures, whatever it is, and we know that's such an important time in their life that they're going to have those pictures for
sure. And the cool part is now for the rest of their lives, a little part of Heirloom Acres is with them because 30, 20, 40 years from now, they're going to look at those pics. I remember our high school pics, remember our wedding pics, and there's Heirloom Acres. Like, oh, remember that sunflower field? I mean, it's just, it lives on forever because of that.
Does.
We make picture stations out of like old equipment and trucks and stuff. So like my high school truck is one of those. It's like a 78 Ford that's out there, and it's in like so many pictures all over social media. And it's hilarious because as kids, I mean, it wasn't cool when we were driving it.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You're embarrassed to be in it.
It's like puke green color, and I mean it's
now it's one of our favorite picture stations.
I think every teenager, especially boys. Your first car was a big piece of junk. It just was. If you paid more than $50 for it, you probably got ripped off.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and this year we set this one up as our Christmas picture station. So the past couple of years we've done just one picture station that's actually Christmas because a lot of people come out to get their Christmas card photos, and we thought, well, they need a Christmas picture station.
Well, might say, quick, get some snow.
Right. So we actually put it by the cotton. So
a white kind of snow.
Yeah. New Mexico's white
that's
Christmas
our version.
there.
Unless you live in the mountains, this is the best we got. Sorry.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. So let's talk about, like, if folks want to come out this weekend. Like I said, you've already been open a weekend or two here, but we still got plenty of weekends between now and Halloween for you to come out and bring the whole family and enjoy all the cool different things that you can experience at Heirloom Acres. Let's talk the core maze a little bit, because that's a draw. It's a huge core maze that I really am curious about the planning of that, because I imagine there's a lot of math and science going on when you're trying to lay a pattern out for a maze.
Yeah. So we try to get a theme first, and so we both work on that, and it takes longer than you'd expect.
Yeah, and then we changed themes last minute, so that was
that didn't help.
Yeah, we had one, and then we get it drawn up, and we're just like, it's not working. And so we last minute ditched that one and went to something else, which is the one we have.
I just had an image in my head where y'all are working together, and then Stuart, not one of you just walks in the room. That's it. We're going pyramids.
That's about what happened.
It's pretty close to what happened.
We're out of town, and we were like, we want to do that one again. It just wasn't coming together.
I was like, we got to plant corn in about 2 weeks. We got to figure this out.
Right. Stuart style, we were kind of last minute, but we did a theme this year that says "Get lost and find joy at Heirloom Acres," because that's one of our big hopes as people come out, is that they do experience joy. Reconnecting, unplugging,
absolutely,
being around a campfire with friends and family,
recharging your batteries a little bit, and reminding what life's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a little nod to the sunflowers in it. The O in it is a sunflower head.
Oh, cool.
So that that's part of that as well. We did sunflowers. I kind of tried it out, a little trial, just a little tiny plot last year. People loved them, so I did about an acre worth of it this year, and really wanted to kind of. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Sure,
it's just gorgeous.
I'm curious for you guys. So I think it's hot. What's what's the inspiration? What's like? Do you always? Because I imagine it's just human nature. You do it one year, and I got to do better the next year, and I got to do better the next year, and that becomes a problem because you get really good, and it's really difficult to top yourself sometimes. But what's is it just something you're churning throughout the year?
Yeah.
And one day you're
always.
I have more ideas than I have time.
Yeah.
As soon
that's
as we finish the season, we're like, okay. I mean, already we're talking like, next year we need to do this different. And one thing we just try to focus on is having quality.
Sure.
More isn't always better, and so we just want to do a few things and do them really well.
I got you.
Pace ourselves.
Because we have lots of ideas, and we hear lots of ideas from the community, but we try to keep up with what we can manage.
And that's just sometimes the problem in some scenarios like this is you try to go too big too fast,
right?
And you end up not doing it right. And it's like, I'd rather slow and steady, the tortoise winning as opposed to the hare in this race. And
we had a mentor that was really good that has another maze, and the best advice we got from him was he said, be true to yourself.
Gotcha.
Figure out who you want to be and stay true to that. And so early on we spent a lot of time like coming up with the name and our values and things like that. And trying to stick to that. So, heirloom is something that's passed down.
Sure.
And
a treasure.
It's a treasure.
Yeah.
And the land is that to some extent. It's been passed in my family in multiple generations. But more importantly, Allison didn't come from ag background, but both of us came from families that passed intangible things.
Sure. The values were the same. Even
the values that got passed.
With her hands in the dirt her
whole life. Values of family and our faith and hard work and having fun together. And so we try to incorporate that into what we do, that to make sure it's a nod to those value system of family.
Sure.
Is a big part of it. And so each thing we do, we're aiming towards that with the maze design. Yeah. I mean, I always kick myself. I find things are wrong with it every year. It's hard to
Well, then
get
your biggest
perfect.
critics are yourself. They're always the hardest critics are always your own self.
But it's fun because you get a new canvas every year and you get to try it again and do something different.
Is there years where you're like, years, I think it came out years. Pun not intended there. Has there been years where you're kind of like, all right, I did it this way, but next year I want to, you know what I mean? Like you're getting inspired for next year while doing this year's maze.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I already have one right now, and I'm not going to reveal it. It's going to make it a surprise, but there's one I'm like, all right, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but it sounds awesome in my mind. Like, I can picture it, but I got to figure out how to do it.
How to make the execution happen.
Yeah,
here.
no, but it happens all the time.
So
I'm always
come
thinking.
and see his brainchild for this year at in the Core Mage. Of course, that's
which
just,
Allison's the originator of this year's.
This is your concept, I guess you could say, or your theme.
Yes.
She got the conceptual put together.
Yeah, and then we kind of worked together on the design of it. So.
Okay, cool. Well, that's I'm just curious. I'm not trying to get personal or anything, but for your marriage and things, is that half the fun? Is just like, is part of your marriage just doing all these things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, half the surprise.
Well, it's half the stress.
Like if y'all didn't do this, what would you do as a married couple? I mean,
I really am surprised. I was like, I thought I got her convinced to do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think she was going to get as involved as she did.
And we were both just as equally surprised that I did get on board with it. But yeah, we joke because even as we look back, our first year, it was very stressful, which we had just had our third child. We had a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn, and just trying to start it. And we didn't know what we were doing.
Sure.
And so it was very stressful. And it was stressful in our marriage. But as we've grown over the years, it's become something that's brought us even closer together.
Once you got, well, it's and I think that's true with every single marriage. It doesn't matter what scenario you put that marriage in. Those first years, you're still learning and feeling each other out and learning. And then, of course, if you're adding to the family, that always adds a layer or 12 of confusion.
But it's been good. It's been a good learning and growing process, and we still have our moments.
But how lucky are your kids that they grow up on heirloom makers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's special.
I think that's the part you can't trade, and I don't know, we want to get folks to come out and have fun here, but for you guys, that's got to be the best part of all of this.
It really
our children, your children are going to grow up right here on this farm, and who knows? 20 years from now, they might be the ones, you guys are sitting on the porch telling them, don't forget this.
Yeah.
Don't forget
I think
that. They're the ones.
Yeah,
I think our 6-year-old will be running it next year. I mean, she's like,
truly, she worked a little bit in the ticket booth this year. She does not understand why she can't do with the money. You're still learning to count.
That's right. We'll get there,
We'll get there, but they
don't have that big plastic money like they do in the classroom.
Right.
You got to get there.
Yeah, but it's special. It's special to see them run around and play, and to think about my father-in-law being on that land growing up, and then now they're playing on it in a different capacity. It is special.
So, are there senior members of family still involved in running things,
My
or?
dad still actively farms. Her dad comes.
So it's 3-4 generations that are all at the same time.
And even her family's been really involved. Her dad, he works in IT and management and stuff, but he grew up. Her grandfather was a carpenter. So he grew up around carpenters.
Okay.
So a lot of the woodworking that we've done, building, he's I call him our personal carpenter.
Nice. And that's helped.
He comes over and does projects with us.
So we see little bits of my family on there too that wasn't there before. Well, and my mom comes over and helps watch the girls, which is huge. And siblings help. And
I imagine it helps too, because even a farm in 2022, even though, it's farm, rural, there's still a lot of IT type technology going on, and keeping the record, keeping security, scheduling for waterings and things. There's computers and science that can help with all that.
Very complex.
I imagine some of the technology on the farm uses very much some of that.
And I've used some of that to actually make the design, things of that nature. So,
Just curious, since this is your whole growing up farm and ranch, and like how it's done today versus growing up, is it night and day different, or is it similar?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of both. Growing up, I've watched it change just from the time I was a little kid to when I was leaving high school. But there are little nods to the past as well. Like I still use flood irrigation on that corn because of where that particular one is. I don't have drip and other things, but so we still have some of the past that's in there. But yeah, it's farming has changed,
and just because it's old doesn't mean it's not good or doesn't work.
Right.
You know, sometimes the old way is the better way.
Yep.
You know, it may take a little longer, but it's a more thorough process or a more better and that's the balance. You got to and as a farm owner, you always juggle those decisions on, do I want to save money or what do I want to sacrifice here, quality or money? And you got to make those decisions sometimes on which direction to go on that based on what's smart for the farm. And so that's probably half the battle right there is just learning all that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get back to the fun stuff. Of course, they can come out to the maze, getting involved with the maze. Of course, they're going to be doing the hay rides out to the pumpkin patch and pick your pumpkins. What's some of the other stuff they can come out and do this weekend and every weekend till Halloween here?
Well, we design it so that our pumpkin patch is close, so that you can just use a wheelbarrow to. So
if you don't want to, you can hoof it up there.
Right.
No problem.
So all of our pumpkins are New Mexico True certified. So we grow them all right there on the farm.
They're all grown right on the farm.
All grown on the farm. So our grain train is actually what we do in lieu of a hayride. So you're actually sitting on seats in little compartments that look like an old grain bin.
Okay.
And so this year we cut a path through the maze so that you can ride the grain train
So
through
you
the
can kinda
maze.
see
So
through the
that's
maze.
kind of fun.
Yeah, so if you don't want to walk through the maze, we'll take you on a ride.
It's like the monorail at Disney World, where it kind of goes through Space Mountain. You can kind of see
Pretty
it.
much the same.
Basically the
Same thing.
So we also have a bee line, which is a kiddie zip line, which the kids love. And that's also close to our hay barn. So if parents want to sit and have iced coffee or hot chocolate and watch the kids
go run down the rope swing or the swing.
Right. The bee line.
Yeah, bee line.
And then we have a 100-foot jumping pillow, which is an in-ground inflatable pillow. And so kids and adults alike can jump on that.
Everybody loves that.
It's so fun.
And you let the adults on, which is awesome.
We
because
do.
Usually kids are all the ones and the adults like, I kind of want to be on there, but I don't want to look like I'm a weirdo.
It's fun. Our teens love it. A lot of our team members that work with us after we close in the evenings, they say, can we go jump? And
That's great.
So they go jump and have fun.
Hey, if that's an employee perk, you got to, sure.
Yeah. So they
finish your chores and who jumps
that's
for you.
pretty much, that's how it goes. So
we added a basketball bin. We got some animals. We added also a pumpkin cannon or blaster. I like to call it blaster. It sounds fun.
Sounds cooler.
But it's not shooting those giant ones. It's shooting like the smaller pumpkins, the minis. But it'll launch them pretty good at 10 walls. So
it's like chucking softballs.
Yeah, exactly. And then they explode when you hit something.
Or they
the cool finish.
blast through the wall. That happened a few times.
Yeah.
I would imagine, depending on the velocity there. Does it all run like CO2 or what's the
just compressed air.
Okay, just compressed air.
Yeah. It works great. And then so that if you're a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, you might enjoy that a little bit. And then we have just some yard games, cornhole, things like that.
Backyard games.
Oh, we got little duck races, which are those water pumps, little rubber duckies. That's fun for.
Is
the
it similar
kiddos.
to like the Deming duck races? Because those are real ducks.
I've never been to that.
Yeah,
is that how they do that?
Ours
I didn't
are
know.
not real ducks.
Yeah,
for that. We have ducks, but they don't.
Yeah, I
race
think
them.
they use real ducks on those.
Oh yeah. No, this is a rubber ducky one.
I just hear duck races and think Deming right away.
Oh yeah. I've heard of it, but I've never been. It would be cool.
Me either, but I hear about it. So,
and a good way to end the night out there is we have campfires that can be reserved if you'd like,
nice.
And that's a great, just kind of cap the day off.
Yeah.
Roast some s'mores, enjoy,
Tell stories.
Yeah.
That's one of our
connect around the
favorite
fire.
things.
It's good for people.
Absolutely. Perhaps someone shows up with a guitar. It's
we've had that.
Yeah.
Little jam session.
It is. Oh, and on that note, we are going to have some live music this week. This weekend on Saturday the 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. We're going to have a bluegrass and country trio come out. So
very good.
That should be fun.
So they'll be picking some fiddles and while you're picking pumpkins.
Yes,
there you go.
Perfect.
Very good. Now, if you're like, where the heck is Heirloom Makers? I've never. It's in Artesia. If you GPS it, 1706 East Main is the actual address there. Just when you get to Artesia, get on Main Street, go east, and you'll find it.
Yep, pretty much. We're just about a mile past the refinery there on the Lovington Highway.
Yes, yeah. It's So instead of turn towards the Bulldog Bowl, go the other way.
Correct.
Yes.
And that'll take you out towards Heirloom Makers.
Right.
Yes.
Don't keep going too far into. You'll end up in like Lovington or something.
Yeah. If you're crossing the river, you went too far.
Yeah.
If you're in Maljamar, you went too far. But yeah, and follow the signs. There'll be signs guiding you to where you need to go and all that good stuff.
Yeah, you'll see it on the right when you're coming in. So,
and then when you get close, just in case you have to duck some chucking pumpkins, be careful. Right. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
but yeah, bring the whole family. Come on out. Is there other things to buy and things, other produce and stuff they can get out there, or is it just the pumpkins? And
the admission will get you in for the whole day.
Okay,
we'll give you wristbands. The only additional charge is food from the concessions.
Which
pumpkins.
You're gonna want.
Yeah, if you want to purchase pumpkin, that's additional charge, and then the blaster, that's an additional charge. Okay. Other than that,
and campfire reservation.
Oh yeah, if you want to reserve a campfire,
yeah, that's an additional.
But the main attractions are all included.
Just a ballpark for people if they're interested in reserving a campfire. Each campfire, ideally, about how many people? Kind of.
We don't cap it.
Okay, but what would be comfortable? You think on average?
Comfortable around 10 people.
Okay. I just didn't like someone's like, I got 50 people. And I'm like, well.
Yeah, you would maybe want to get 2 or 3 if you had that many people. But if you're going to kind of rotate, you can just get one. So everybody needs an admission ticket to get in, but then you just have to purchase one campfire for everyone.
Perfect. Yeah. And then come on down and get ready to celebrate. And just come and even if you're like, well, I don't need to go ride on a pumpkin patch or anything. Just come on out and see the.
It's a good ambiance.
Come on out on the farm and hang out. Sit back and. Maybe have a lemonade and watch the kids ride the hayride and shoot down the zip line. And, like for me, and of course the age I'm now, I think I'm a little older than you guys, but I'm at a point where I go to like a Disney World or Busch Gardens or something like that. And I'm like, I'm having more fun just sitting on this bench, eating some big giant ice cream or something.
Yeah. And watching
just watching the roller coasters and watching people do their thing. And I think if you're not wanting to per se, get on the hayride or go do that, then just sit and enjoy the atmosphere and chat with people. If you're a grandparent or something, hang out with the grandkids, let them go run around and have fun. And while you're just enjoying the day out on the farm, basically.
Especially this weekend, it looks like it's going to be
weather's
so cool.
Weather's going to be temperature-wise should be nice.
It's going to be perfect.
Maybe
beautiful.
Wear your boots and maybe a
wear your
slicker
boots,
or something.
It is a farm, so there is going to be mud. But
and that happens. It's not all asphalt roads and driveways out there. It's a farm.
It's a farm. So wear your boots and.
So I'm going to put you guys on the spot. What's your most favorite aspect of all the whole festival at Heirloom Lakers? Is it the maze? Is it the pumpkin ride? What's the part you dig the most? You guys personally?
I think this is kind of all encompassing for me is the people.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I love
meeting neighbors and
and
new people.
Yeah.
So the first year there was a lot of people that I went to high school with, I grew up with, where it came out, and I hadn't seen in like 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So that was cool. But then. Now that we're in our 4th season, I see people coming back from like Hobbs and Loveton and surrounding communities that were here years before, and I recognize them, and they're already making this a annual tradition for them. And I don't know, that's really cool too. And then also just our staff, a lot of, we get repeats and we have a lot of fun.
And then some of them graduate, and then I get
because generally probably this year you have some seasonal. And usually high school, college age kids.
Yeah, and we have some older ones, but the high school kids, when they.
You probably have employees that are there all year for doing the rest of the farm. Or
not yet, just us.
Just the family. Okay.
But
she's like, hey, we hire somebody?
We probably need to.
But for seasonal help,
So we just get them, for 5 weekends, and it is fun, and we do get to develop some good relationships with them, and then later going to see them play sports or things like that. It is special, and the relationships that we've formed closer with our family, like family that should come over from Lubbock or to help, and Amarillo, just to help there, and then the community relationships.
Well, and what I love about that is, especially with your, because then you get people that they come back year after year, they love doing their parts, but they kind of become pseudo celebrities in their own little self, because all the people that come every year, and it's like, oh, we're going to go see Sue. She's always at the Heirloom Makers, and she's, guiding people to the pumpkin patch, whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, and then after a while, they're like, why isn't Sue doing it this year? You know what I mean? It kind of gets like that, where you're used to, this time of year, these are the people we see, these are the things we do. And so it just kind of turns into that tradition, routine, and which is kind of farm living, really.
I love that it brings people together.
Yeah. So Good answer. So I'm curious. What is there plans for other future? Because like I said, you're always thinking and percolating. You're like, all right, we got the corn maze, we got the pumpkin blaster. Is there anything percolating in the brain?
Oh yeah, I still have a list we're working on.
Always.
Okay. Like, I mean, how crazy does it get? Just curious. I'm like, is it like, all right, picture 4 platforms, and so I was like, all right, hold on. I mean, does it get like that sometimes, or is it, you know?
We actually did get some architectural drawings and something where they had a big old outlook that was like a 3-story type deal or something. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I think that's also part of the fun too, because you're like, I got a farm, I got all this land. Let's do something fun. You know what I mean? What can we do that create that people would love to come and see and hang out? And let's face it, these are things you probably typically can't do in your neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stuff like that. But we all agree, hey, this is fun. And but they have to worry about disturbing neighbors when there's a pumpkin flying through their front window.
Well, and there's also projects that need to be done to just make our life a little easier that nobody else would even notice. Like, I'd love to put the corn on drip or something.
Sure.
Yeah, that make life a lot simpler. But
And
one thing at a time.
Maybe you can sleep in a little bit or something.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I don't think they turn on the sprinklers. They come on themselves.
Yeah. And one of the things we joke is that we do everything at least twice around the farm. And, walls will blow down, or the pumpkins got held out our first year. And some of that is just weather related. You can't control it. But then other things were like, okay, let's do this different so we don't have to do it 4 times.
Sure. But that's farm life too. It's like you got to find a way to do something. Even if you don't have all the material you need, the job still needs to get done. All right, time to get creative, and that's a farmer. That's exactly
problem
what a farmer
solver
is. Yeah, that's what they do. And so when they're very good. So again, is it every Saturday and Sunday now through Halloween, or
every Friday, Saturday, Sunday? So Friday evenings from 6 to 9, and then Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay,
and then Sunday afternoons from 2 to 8.
Yeah, and again, it's Heirloom Acres in Artesia, 1706 East Main. Just if you're coming from Roswell here, as you're going, you'll hit the second traffic light in Artesia there. That's Main Street. You're going to want to hang a left. And then keep going, and then you'll follow the signs, find everything to Heirloom Acres.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, very good. Is there anything we skipped over or missed, or something we want to talk about that we got sidetracked on?
I don't know. We covered it.
We kind of covered it.
I kept the history and everything.
When I get folks that I'm kind of curious about the life and all that, I'm just like, I love this, and I think it's fun, because I think this is the kind of stuff people that don't know anything about farming and ranching need to know about farming and ranching. You know, this is, especially the world we live in with food, and I say this every time I'm talking to farmer and ranchers. It's the one industry on the planet that demand is growing, and the people that are involved to make that demand get its supply is shrinking. So, the farming and ranching has to get creative to feed more mouths with less people and less space. Less everything. So that's the problem, and that's how they make it happen.
Well, I would like to say that we really do appreciate all the support we've gotten from the community. Communities, southeastern New Mexico. There's been a lot of people, the ones that have supported it the first year, the people that continue to come out, being an opportunity to visit with you. We're very blessed, and we're very grateful for that. And we just hope that it brings joy to your family and that you have a good time. And then also just want to encourage people, hey, support this industry, support the kids out at the fair this week. Yeah. They've worked really hard. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunities to reconnect with agrarian culture. Yeah. And it's good. It's good to understand those things.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Matter of fact, if you want to come a little later in the morning to air, I'm going to give you a pass for this Saturday. If you come a little later in the morning, that's okay if you're going to be out at the Junior Livestock Ring.
Yes.
For the livestock show.
Go to the auction.
Because they're going to help those kids out.
Yes.
Then we spend all your money there, save a few bucks, and bring it up to Heirloom Acres.
There you go. There you go.
Win for everyone.
Bid all your thousands on one of the pigs there. Hold a little back, and then come on out to Heirloom Acres afterwards.
Yeah.
No, these are great communities to live in. I tell people you're going to move to New Mexico, there's only one part of the state you need to live in. So
there you go.
I'm partial down here. I love it. It's great. We got we got the best people.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for doing this and keeping and really creating a new Southeast New Mexico tradition here.
Yes.
And the reason it's successful is because you guys made it that way. And
well, thank you.
I know. Yes, the support and everything, people coming, but they wouldn't be there if you guys didn't make a pretty cool environment for them to come and enjoy. So
thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys this weekend. And
okay.
Come on, come hungry. Come ready to chuck some pumpkins. Come ready to get lost in a corn maze. They will let you out eventually. It wasn't like we were joking earlier.
We will come find you.
You don't have to bring a tent and live there if you get lost. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm sure you got 12 fires to put out right now, so
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
go do that.
Thank you.
All right, it's 9:56. Let's take a quick break before we wrap up the show. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. More Americans filed for unemployment last week. Applications rose 29,000 to 219,000. The September employment report comes out tomorrow. A pilot strike at budget airline Eurowings has forced the German carrier to cancel hundreds of flights.
The Lufthansa subsidiary said about half of its 500 daily flights on Thursday were canceled. That affected tens of thousands of passengers. While German airports were heavily affected, others such as Stockholm, Prague, and Mallorca were also affected. The pilots' union announced the walkout after talks with management about improving working conditions stalled.
That's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. Peloton looking to trim hundreds of jobs as the company reorganizes its business, which is stalled as a coronavirus-related surge slowly fades. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
I'm Michelle Garcia Holmes, and I'm running for United States Congress. As a former policewoman, I put on my Kevlar vest, uniform, gun belt, grabbed my 12-gauge shotgun, jumped into my police car, and hit the city streets to keep you safe. I want to do the same for you in Washington. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th because our families deserve safe cities, a secure border, and lower gas prices.
Donate today at GarciaHolmesForCongress.com. Paid for by Michelle Garcia Holmes for Congress.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor. John runs with us. Nothing runs like a deer. Get a 3 Series tractor with 0% APR for 72 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2316.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia or Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Prepare for the scare. The city of Roswell presents Night of the Living Zoo, October 28th and 29th at the Spring River Zoo, with spooktastic fun for the whole family, including carnival games, a bouncing castle, carousel, and of course, trick-or-treating with lots of candy. Wear your Halloween costumes and prepare for the affair of the spooky season. Admission is only $5. Kids 3 and under are free. Get tickets and more info at roswell-connect.com. Night of the Living Zoo, October 28th and 29th at the Spring River Zoo in Roswell. See you there.
This is Dallas Cowboys football 2022.
High formation. Ferguson, the fullback.
Only heard here.
In front of Elliott. 3rd and goal from the 1.
All season.
Handoff. Elliott coming right, pushing. Goal line. Bangs in. Touchdown, Elliott.
Sunday afternoon, it's your Cowboys and the L.A. Rams. Live from SoFi Stadium on this Dallas Cowboys radio network station.
Sunday at 1:30 p.m. on your Dallas Cowboy station, 92.9 The Brand. Mulan has the highest kill count of any Disney character. When asked for comment, Buzz Lightyear responded, "To infinity and beyond." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 10 o'clock. That's going to do it for us. Thank you very, very much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Greatly appreciate that. Head on out to the fair. Have some fun. Got a few more days of that. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow for the Friday edition of the Mornings with Mike Winters. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you then. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits rose last week.
The Labor Department